physical name, and certainly everyone who is familiar with Springfield and familiar with the cartoon space, you certainly know exactly where we're going with all of this. As the Bruins and Isotopes start to make their way onto the ice, Ryan Mougenel making just a couple of changes in the Providence lineup here tonight from an evening ago. Trevor Kuntar and Joey Abate come out of the lineup on the fourth unit, and Brett Harrison and Riley Duran check in. Otherwise, the same skaters across the board for Ryan Mougenel at forward and defense. Obviously, both teams going with the second goaltender in their arsenals. Brandon Bussey and Vadim Zherenko both showcasing what has been a real improvement in the month of January for each of them after it was a really slow start to the campaign for both of those third-year netminders. Now the stars in between the pipes get the show tonight in Springfield. It's Colton Ellis and Michael DiPietro go toe-to-toe in what should be an absolute dandy of a netminding matchup. Ellis with a record of 15-6-2, 2.51 in goals against average, .924 save percentage. That save percentage figure the fifth best in the American Hockey League. Michael DiPietro, the best in the American Hockey League, with a 1.91 goals against average, 16-5-4 his record. A .932 save percentage. Only Yaroslav Askarov of San Jose has a better save percentage league-wide than DiPietro. And Michael also in the top three in the league in victories with those 16. It should be an absolute show tonight here inside the Mass Mutual Center. The Isotopes, the Bruins, Springfield versus Providence. Hockey the way it should be on a Saturday night in February. We'll have the opening puck drop when we return next. T-Birds Hockey on WHYN, Cozy TV, AHL TV, and FloHockey. I think we're on enough places tonight. Brought to you by MGM Springfield.
We'd like to welcome the Benjamin Phelps Elementary for presenting our giant T-Birds flag. And we'd like to welcome the students from James Clark Elementary presenting our giant American flag. Fans, we'd like to recognize and congratulate Thunderbirds and Isotopes head athletic trainer Cord Lavimoniere on reaching a milestone of 600 professional games. Congratulations to Cord. Fans, we'd also like to take a moment and congratulate your Springfield Isotopes All-Star number 15, Dalibor Dvorsky, who brought home the accuracy shooting trophy at the 2024-25 AHL All-Star Skills Competition this past weekend in Coachella Valley. Congratulations, Devo! Fans, at this time, we'll ask you to rise, remove your hats, and welcome onto the ice Cub Scout Pack 272 as they present our nation's colors. And fans, as we celebrate Agawam Night tonight, please welcome from Agawam High School Choir Samuel Beckwith as they perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We get ourselves ready for one of the always most highly anticipated nights of the year on the Thunderbirds calendar, the annual Isotopes night. as Springfield takes on its alter ego, its second moniker, and looks to improve to a perfect 5-0 when taking on the Isotopes name and looking to earn a split of this home-and-home weekend set against the Providence Bruins, a season series that, as I mentioned in the open and chatting with Steve Konowalchuk, can't get much more even. Both teams with 8 points in the standings through the first 7 meetings of the season series. As things continue to heat up in the Atlantic Division race across the AHL. T-Birds are now 6 points clear of the Hartford Wolfpack. Springfield holding on to the 6th and final playoff spot as it stands right now in the Atlantic Division, hoping they can build a little more distance between the Wolfpack here tonight, while at the same time still trying to climb further up the Atlantic standings. T-Birds with a couple of games in hand on the 5th place Lehigh Valley Phantoms. T-Birds come into play tonight 3 points back of Lehigh Valley for 5th place in the standings. Just 8 points back, though, of Charlotte and Providence for 2nd and 3rd. Charlotte, by virtue of the tiebreaker, holds the 2nd spot in the division. Isotopes and Bruins on the ice, ready for action tonight. Jake Camrus and Mike Dietrich are our referees. Camrus was one of the 2 referees on the game last night in Providence. Anthony Lapointe and Dylan Lewis will be working the lines on this Saturday night. Topes will begin the night with Mackenzie McEachran, Dalibor Dvorsky, and Nikita Alexandrov up front. Matt Kessel and Corey Schoenemann steady as they come on the blue line for Springfield. They get the start on the back line in front of Colton Ellis. The Bruins begin the night with the line that provided the game-tying goal late in the 3rd a night ago. Max Jones, Georgi Merkulov, and Vinny Lettieri up front. Rookie Jackson Edward on defense with Billy Sweezy in front of Michael DiPietro in net for the Bruins, who are in their white road uniforms with black and gold trim. The yellow of the Isotopes with the pink and blue trim as they move from left to right here in the opening period. Merkulov and Dvorsky ready for the drop of the puck from Mike Dietrich, and Isotopes night, Volume 5 underway here inside the Mass Mutual Center. And Matt Kessel, who has been perhaps the Isotopes' best player of late, sends into the O-zone for Alexandrov. Last time Springfield was on home ice, it took them less than a minute to take a 1-0 lead. They love a similar script here tonight. McEachran in the right wing corner battling against Edward. Puck comes loose in front and Vinny Lettieri takes over for Providence. They'll play it up the far glass out to center. Merkulov able to glove it as far as the Springfield line. Dvorsky now on it for the Topes. They'll swing it back in the direction of Schoenemann, who got knocked down by Max Jones. Kessel over with support. Play it up the far side onto Alexandrov. Nicky out to center ice, moving it up to McEachran on left wing. McEachran stops along the half boards, but then ran into a bit of a roadblock. Fabian Lysell now on it for Providence. Lysell, who leads the Bruins in points in the season series on the Providence side, turned it over in center to Matthew Peck, who leads all players in this season series, 7 points in the first 7 games for the T-Bird captain, who was kept off the score sheet last night, though, for only the 2nd time in his last 6 games. Matt Luff through the middle, connects on to Otto Stenberg. Big chance for the 19-year-old tonight with 2 veterans on his line with him. Luff on the left wing, trying to tap it in behind the goal in the direction of Pekka. Stenberg over to it left side and behind for Pekka. The captain looks over his options out of the left wing corner. Feeding the point, Leo Lupa one-time slapper, deflected and stopped by DiPietro. Rebound comes to Luff, he fires, blocked, second try, another save. DiPietro somehow kept it out off of Luff in tight. Did I mention we have a marquee goaltending matchup tonight? DiPietro on cue on the first shot he faces coming out of the All-Star Classic break, which he was a part of in Palm Desert, California with Dalibor Dvorsky. Doesn't look like he's showing any rust so far, and Matt Luff looking skyward after he thought he for sure had the Topes up early. Alec Koskamaki now out in center ice, connects on to Simon Robertson. Robertson will backhand into the near corner. Rookie Ryan Mast back defending for the Bruins. Patrick Brown, the Providence captain, turned it over in the middle. Quick shot, Robertson kicked away by DiPietro. Simon didn't get as much on that attempt as he would have liked. Koskamaki now in the slot with it. Took a big hit from Brown. Brown now trying to evade the checking of Zach Dean. Dean gets to it, along for Koskamaki. Bruins back in control now, and Tyler Pitlick will swing it out to Jeff Thiel in center. From the red line, the big man will get it deep as he took a hit from Hunter Skinner in the process. Koskamaki then got flattened to the ice by Pitlick and behind the Isotope goal. Bodies come together, but all is well and good. Clean hit. Koskamaki bouncing right back to his skates. Good response from both teams. And neither team wanted to take an early penalty. Jackson Edward ahead off the stick of Riley Durand. Fresh legs for the Bruins. Durand was a healthy scratch a night ago. Durand, the former Providence College Friar, works it onto the other new Bruin into the lineup tonight. Brett Harrison in the far corner. He and Durand go to work against 2 Topes defenders, Skinner in there along with Tanner Dickinson, who is a fresh body on the Springfield side of things with the absence of Hugh McGing. Dylan Peterson now across center will push it in deep. DiPietro out to play it in the trapezoid along to Billy Sweezy. Up the far boards to Duran. Now Edward in the middle of the ice, skates his way to center, gains the red line and will play it safely deep in Springfield ice. Ellis back to take it, he'll hand for Schuneman, and now Kessel. Just over 3 minutes gone by in this opening period, and now we'll get the first whistle of the night as an icing call is made as Kessel couldn't connect in center with Sam Bitton. 3 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock. The Isotopes with the first 3 shots of the night. Go unlimited with an unlimited wash pass from Golden Nozzle Car Wash, starting at only $19.99 per month. Wash as often as you like at any Golden Nozzle location in New England. Drawn to the right of Ellis. Dickinson out to take it against Merkulov. Merkulov won it toward the slot, but good support from Peterson and Bitton combined to get it out of the zone. Ian Mitchell now back on it inside the Providence zone. Mason Millman up the near side via the stick of Jones and in deep. Ellis out to move it up the near boards for Kessel. Should have been there with more support, but he ran into Letary. Now McEachran ducks deeper into his own end to play it, and Dvorsky will get it safely to center to Alexandrov. Alexandrov from the red line, pushing it across the Providence zone, but the Bruins flutter it right back to neutral ice. T-Birds re-tag and try to break back in, but Millman shuts that down, and Jones back the other way up the left wing. Max Jones tips the shoulder in the circle, turns back with it, and continues the cycle on low to Letary. Letary from the right corner, steps out front, spins and fires. A shoulder save by Ellis. Merkulov looking to get the puck back out in front. Will roll it to the point. Mason Millman, a wrist shot in and out of the glove of Ellis. Rebound was sitting free. Unable to clear it first was Schuneman. Jones stays after it. Schuneman with a second poke gets it ahead to center. Now the Topes move up with some numbers. McEachran down the middle. Right wing feed for Alexandrov with the pass a little behind Nicky. McEachran in the corner couldn't stop the dump in pass attempt, but Alexandrov able to pick it off on the right wing wall. Alexandrov trying to send it in low, cut off by Frederick Brunet, who leads all skaters on the ice with a plus 19 rating. And Letary will now bounce it down into the Isotope zone. 4:40 gone by opening period, scoreless game. Pekka bursting up the right wing. Pekka fires, trying to sneak it on the far side armpit of DiPietro, but the netminder able to make the save and not give up a rebound. DiPietro not a big man in the net in a day and age where goaltenders are asked to almost be 6'4", 6'5" by default. Ellis and DiPietro, two good examples of goaltenders who, while they're not these big imposing figures, they rely on their athleticism. And boy, do they get the job done. DiPietro just 6 foot 200 pounds, Ellis 6'1", 186. It's a quick shot off this draw is gobbled up by DiPietro as Pekka and Luff try to combine on a quick attempt. Deep in the Providence zone. 5 shots Topes, 2 shots Bruins in the opening roughly 5 minutes. Springfield had only 3 shots on goal for the entire first period a night ago. Pekka once again will draw against Patrick Brown. The two captains have been matched up a ton in the dot this season and especially last night. Brown wins this draw. Brunet up the left side trying to connect in center with Ryan Mass. Skinner a good headman feed ahead to Luff. He has Stenberg breaking. Luff moves in, he shoots. He hit the crossbar. Matt Luff now has been denied once by DiPietro and once by the iron in the early stages of this first period. After so many pucks were going in for Matt Luff early in his T-Bird tenure, he's now undergoing a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a jinx, but he's trying to find some lady luck on his side. Luff gets it to the line. It's held in the zone briefly, but now Pekka will escape across the center. Oh, he took a big hit from Brown right by the Isotopes bench. Good to see the captain back to his skates, and he'll exit on a change. 14:25 remaining first period. Edward cuts off a Skinner breakout pass attempt. Bruins would have been offside. Farinacci re-tags, but the puck ends up in the Isotopes bench. And that'll stop play as Kessel and Farinacci briefly have a conversation on the far side of the ice. 14:19 remaining in this opening period. Again, thank you to those of you joining us tonight, watching along on Cozy TV on the networks of Western Mass News, as well as our usual listening and viewing audiences on WHYN and AHL TV. Draw will be to the left of Colton Ellis. Dean Koskamaki and Robertson out together. Zach Dean still looking for his first goal of the season. Of course, it's still just Zach's 8th game of the year after he missed half a season with a lower body injury he suffered in just the 3rd game of the campaign. Robertson over to it on the near side. Another player who has battled some injuries. He missed about half of the T-Birds season to this point as well. Schumann rolls this one all the way down, and it will turn into an icing call against the Topes. 14:04 remaining first period. Last night we didn't see much of anything except 5-on-5 play until the third period. There was only one man advantage in the first 40+ minutes of that game. While there were no power plays converted upon last night, it was a Bruin power play that led to the equalizer late in the third. Alec Koskamaki rolls it around the net to the far side. Fabian Lysell got to it ahead of Dean, and he'll skate it out through center and lob it inside the Springfield zone. Kessel back over to take it. He'll wind it corner to corner behind his net for Schumann. Now in center ice, it's Robertson in the middle to Dean. Dean back to Robertson. Rink-wide feed. Koskamaki flumps the one-timer off the heel of his stick. Dean and Koskamaki swarm it. A drop feed to the point is picked off by Farinacci. Riley Tufte now sends it out to Lysell in center. Lysell trying to cut to the inside on Schumann. Corey knocked him down to the ice. Kessel calmly maneuvers away from the long reach of Tufte and lobs it through center. That's a confident play from a confident player in Matt Kessel as he toe dragged it around two defenders in his own zone to get out of danger. Leo Loof stopping it in the far corner, turning away from traffic. Duran wiped out. Topes with a chance to have numbers moving through center, and across the line it's Dickinson to the right circle. Tanner Dickinson who shot on a kick save against the grain made by DiPietro. Around the net it comes to the right wing side. Johannesson pinching down to keep it away from Brunet. Dickinson keeps it moving into the corner. Sam Bitten a big hit on Brunet, tries to force the puck out in front now. Sam to the left wing corner, maintains a hold of it. Ian Mitchell swats it high into the air into the glass. Dylan Peterson now after it next for the Topes. Finally, Providence gets out of danger, and Duran rolls it up for Mark McLaughlin. And the former BC Eagle will get it around the T-Bird net. Ellis quickly to Johannesson, one touch on to Dickinson. Springfield out to center, and Peterson from the red line will bounce it in. DiPietro out to move it quickly. Out in center for Brett Harrison, who from the red line will just pitch it in. Ellis snares it and will wind it around the net to the near side. Hunter Skinner back for it. Up the near side, it'll get as far as center. Jackson Edward on it at the Bruin line. Now things calming down a bit after the Topes had a number of chances in the opening 5 minutes. Now the Bruins guilty of an icing and an ozone draw coming again for Springfield. 12-11 remaining in the opening period, and certainly to this point a better start for Springfield this evening as opposed to a night ago. But like Vadim Jurenko in the opening period last night in Providence, Michael DiPietro in hostile territory has been up to each and every challenge so far with a little help from the iron on a try by Matt Luff. Drawn to DiPietro's right. The Dvorsky line back on the ice for Springfield. Terry trying to get proper jump on the draw. Dvorsky won the faceoff. Alexandrov to the point. Bushinger a shot misses wide on the stick side of DiPietro. McEachran though wins a battle from Edward, trying to force feed the front, but lost the handle right as he tried to make the move. Bushinger now trying to send it back toward the front, blocked down by Letary. McEachran behind the net, stops it in the trapezoid. Sweezy working him over heavily. Alexandrov now will get to it in the far corner. Working it in deeper to McEachran in the trapezoid. In his office, Mack takes a look. In front for Alexandrov left side. Banking to the point, Bushinger a one-time snapper. Blocked in front by a kneeling Sweezy. Second try, and DiPietro a good blocker save on McEachran. McEachran swings it in deeper again for Alexandrov. Nicky looks it over. Looking in front, Bushinger has crept in from the point, but Alexandrov's pass toward the blue line is deflected up and out of play. That will halt play and send us to commercial for the first time tonight. 11:29 remaining first period. Topes with a number of the shots early in the game, but Michael DiPietro and the Bruins holding the fort in a scoreless tie. Isotopes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. And 29 remaining in the opening period as the T-Birds have become the Isotopes for one night here inside the Mass Mutual Center, and so far they've had a number of the good scoring chances in the opening frame. 7-2 the shots in favor of the Topes. Matt Luff has gotten denied point blank by DiPietro once, and he's rang another one off the underside of the crossbar. Luff right back on the ice for this draw after the media stoppage with Pekka and Stenberg. Otto still looking for his second pro goal in North America. He scored in his AHL debut in Bridgeport 8 games ago, but is on his last 8 without one. Here he is on the right wing, feeding the middle. Pekka tied up by Pitlick. Stenberg keeps it alive out to Bushinger, and around the net it comes. Pekka in after it, but he and Mitchell able to chop it past the Isotope captain, but not out of the zone just yet. A good keep by Stenberg briefly. And then Jeff Viel coughs it up and center to Pekka. Moves right back in, dropping to Stenberg. Right back to Pekka again, right corner in front. Stenberg turns back with it, looking to center. Goes off a skate out to Skinner at the right point. His flip shot blocked down on the way to the net. Viel will now work his way to center. You can see what makes this Bruin team the stingiest defensive club in the league is right when you think you have a shooting lane, they close out so quickly. It also doesn't hurt that they have 2 of the better goaltenders in the league lately. Now the Topes are going to be penalized. First penalty of the night is going to be a trip. And Michael Bushinger guilty as he put the blade in the feet of Jeff Viel. And so the Providence power play will go to work for the first time at the 9:15 mark of the first, giving the Topes their first look on the Curry Honda penalty kill. A PK that is 6 for 6 in the last 2 games, but again it comes with the caveat of the game-tying goal last night in the third period by Providence being scored just 2 seconds after a penalty had expired. So it doesn't go down as a power play goal, but Steve Konowalchuk said pregame, for all intents and purposes, it was a power play goal, and you need your penalty kill to come up big in those moments. See what they can do here in the middle stages of period 1, and with both teams still trying to crack the ice. Pekka, McEachran, Schoenemann, and Kessel, the 4 on the ice for Springfield, but Brown again wins the draw for the Bruins, who get set up right away. Merkulov on the right wing, lost it as he moved into the circle, now regathers and fires, save Ellis, rebound sat loose in front for a moment, swatted to the wall but not out of the zone. Merkulov with it again, move into the circle, Merkulov into the slot, a good stick by McEachran, knocked it loose from Pitlick, and Mack will chase it now in the neutral zone. Mitchell though keeps it away from him. Springfield gets a partial change, Lettieri back in on the left wing for Brown. Patrick Brown looks over the options before stuffing it in deeper. Schoenemann though waits for it, and he'll play it around to an open wing and all the way down. That will allow the Topes to get a full change now, and 4 fresh penalty killers on the ice with Alexandrov, Peterson, Loof, and Skinner. Ian Mitchell quarterbacking this power play will lead for Lettieri. Then Lettieri to the red line, slowly across the Springfield zone, actually never got across the line. Alexandrov and Peterson kept him from breaking in. Brune now sends it in, good play by Ellis behind the net, but he gave it up side of the goal, but Tufte, thankfully for Ellis, fanned on the shot attempt, and a rare misplay by Ellis out of his net. He gets away with it as Riley Tufte couldn't quite get a clean shot off. He had some net to shoot at. Brune now back to center, leaves for the speedy Lysell. Lysel's left wing pass a little slow on the way to Jones, knocked away by Skinner and cleared by Peterson. So DiPietro out of his net now to move it. Up on right wing for Farinacci. Left wing feed way too far in front of Jones, so Skinner with plenty of time will wait and send it the length of the ice once again. Only a half-minute remaining on the Michael Bushinger tripping minor. Bruins on the first power play of the night in a scoreless game past the midpoint of period 1. Lysell pursuing on the forecheck with Schoenemann. Schoenemann gets to it first, plays it up the middle, but Brune will hold in at the line. Left wing side for Jones. He fanned on the wrist shot, but regathers. Jones on the left wing by the goal line, trying to get away from the pushing of Kessel. Brune at the left point, sends it back down the wall, little out of Jones's reach, and Kessel golfing it up the wall, couldn't get it out. Brune holds the zone. Farinacci left wing half boards, back out for Brune, fakes the one-timer, now sends it down the wall for Jones. Jones an angle shot, stick save Ellis. Kessel able to swat the rebound towards center. Bushinger out of the box will move his way up ice. Could be a 2-on-1 with Robertson. Bushinger with the puck, Bushinger the shot, save made DiPietro, rebound Dean, stopped again by DiPietro. Michael DiPietro putting on a show in this first period. Now Jones flying in at the other end, a backhander save made by Ellis. Did I mention this was a great goaltending duel? On cue, big saves at each end. From one all-star and another man who I venture to say probably should have been an all-star. Johannesson now inside his own zone as things again ramp up a little bit. Sam Bitten will cancel an icing to the right side of DiPietro. Mass trying to clear up the far side. Lou pinching down. Peterson holds out at the blue line. Peterson though gave it up to McLaughlin, and he'll just roll it through center ice. 7:50 remaining, opening period. Still scoreless between the Taupes and the Bruins. Both teams have had some glorious scoring chances in this first period, and the goaltenders have lived up to what on paper was a fantastic matchup. Leo Loof will sky it in. To the left of DiPietro. Edward along for Sweezy. Up the far boards for Harrison. Headman feed out of the reach of Duran. Skinner coming back for this one. It will not have enough steam for icing. So Springfield forced to keep it moving. Leo Loof on his way to center. Looks around, will gain the red line. Before sending it up on the left wing to McEachran. Through the middle looking for Peterson, but it's deflected back out to center by Patrick Brown. Viel will catch up to it in on the left wing side. His wrist shot blocked by Bushinger. Swatted away from the front of the net by Skinner, but Brown back to it. One-timer from the point. Brunet deflected wide of the net. Viel now comes around trying to stuff it in front, but he lost the handle. Mitchell keeps it moving at the right point, down deeper for Viel. Viel centers. Dvorsky positioned well defensively to intercept, and he'll roll it back to center. Brunet now behind the penalty boxes, moves it across the Springfield zone in the middle. Pitlick with space, fires, and missed just wide on the glove side. Tyler Pitlick has had the hot hand of late for the Bruins in this particular season series. He narrowly missed, giving the Bruins a 1-0 lead for a second straight night. Boy, the goaltenders have answered the bell so far tonight. 9 saves for DiPietro, 4 of which have been fantastic. 6 saves for Ellis, 2 dandies for Colton in this first period. If you wanted goaltending, you've got it so far tonight. Taupes and Bruins scoreless, late stages, period 1. Springfield Thunderbirds / Isotopes Hockey, brought to you by MGM Springfield. Still scoreless, but not for a lack of chances in this first period. Last night we had a relatively quiet opening frame, not many chances to speak of. Tonight a much different story. 15 combined shots, and both goaltenders have come up with some absolutely marvelous answers in their blue paint. Michael DiPietro and Colton Ellis both have been terrific. A game where kind of thought goals may be at a premium. So far it is trending that direction. Puck in center ice, Stenberg trying to deflect it into the Bruins zone, inadvertently put it onto the Providence bench instead. Fortunately, everyone seems to be okay over on the Providence side of things. Bruin head coach Ryan Mougenel picked out a young Bruin fan in the crowd to toss that loose puck after avoiding taking one to the head. Those coaches have a real dangerous spot on the ice. They, of course, aren't wearing helmets, and they're standing upright, so there's a whole lot more target for that puck to hit. But time and time again, we see these coaches with a lot of that experience from their playing days know when to turn the other way and avoid some shrapnel in the form of vulcanized rubber coming their way. Taupes now trying to go to work on the forecheck deep in the Providence zone. Pekka and Stenberg on the wall doing the work. Luff in the middle trying to spin it toward the front of the net. Gloving it down Mason Millman, but he doesn't clear the zone. Kessel will bounce it back in wide of the target. Mitchell able to get away from Pekka and then outlet on to center, but Lettieri can't hang on to the pass, and Schuterman now takes over for the Taupes. Kessel on the near side, leaving it back for Corey Schuterman. And now Kessel steps in on the right side. Kessel through the middle, comes on the left wing to Luff. He'll fire, another save by DiPietro. Luff has not been shy about firing in this first period. That's generally a good sign when Luff is feeling good about his shot, but he's been snake bitten so far in this first period. 5:40 remaining in the frame. Schuterman starts from his own end again. Johannesson gains center and sends it around the wall to the far side. Dean ties up with Ryan Mast. They cancel. Frederick Brunet now in control for Providence. Up the guts to Riley Tufte. Tufte a right wing saucer pass. Lysell will try to chase it down against his fellow Swede Loof in the far corner. Loof got to it, played it out front, calmly kicked aside by Dean. And now Johannesson on the near boards will send it up off the stick of Robertson and deep. DiPietro out to move it. He'll try the near glass. Robertson trying to seal the wall as he comes together with Brunet. Robertson still fighting for it. Farinacci looking for it in his feet. Koskamaki now to it, trying to step off the wall, but he left the puck behind, and Lysell steps to center. Lysell to the checkered line, but didn't get any further. Farinacci now finally steps through. and gets it inside the T-Bird blue line as both teams start to make some personnel changes. Under 5 minutes remaining in a scoreless first. Koskamaki sends in deep for Springfield to the far corner. Peterson in pursuit against Sweezy. Dickinson arrives on the scene next. Tanner Dickinson down to a knee. Peterson trying to roll it back to point position, but Bushinger had moved to the inside of the ice. Ellis will now come way out of his net to move it with two Bruins fast approaching. Harrison sent it back out in front. Bushinger falls down, trying to clear the miss. Turnaround shot to Rand, kicked aside by Ellis. Bit of a misadventure for the T-Birds of the D zone there, but they get away with it. Peterson now through center ice, fends off some interference to step into the zone on right wing. In fact, he drew the penalty. Delayed call against Providence. Bushinger to the front, knocked down by Dickinson. He fires, and DiPietro got to it to make the save and cover. We got some pushing and shoving after the fact, and gloves are down behind the net. Billy Sweezy has started firing with the T-Bird on the scene. Peterson. Sweezy and Peterson going behind the Providence goal line. Both men have lost their helmets. Sweezy got the jump with a couple of rights, but Peterson now got a couple more in himself. How about this? Just a straight line of players from both teams tapping their sticks down on the ice in support of their teammates, Sweezy and Peterson. Thunderbirds athletic trainer Cord Lavamonier jumped off the bench just to check and make sure everything was okay with Peterson. With less than 5 minutes to go in the period, both players are going to be sent to the dressing room anyway, but Cord Lavamonier will take a look at Peterson just to be safe. 4:12 remaining in this opening period. We'll step aside. I believe it'll be a Topes power play when we come back, as things start to ramp up a little bit more in terms of the animosity on a Saturday night in Springfield. Topes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. Still have not seen the penalty time go up on the board yet. Again, there was a delayed call coming against the Bruins as Peterson got impeded moving up the ice by Jackson Edwards. So there was going to be a penalty on Edward. The play carried on to the front of the net as DiPietro got knocked into a little bit by Peterson, but DiPietro was out of his paint. Sweezy stood up for his netminder and dropped the mitts with Dylan Peterson. So I think they're now just trying to sort out what the extra penalties, if it's anything more than just fighting majors. Look like a pretty even timing in terms of the glove drop by Sweezy and Peterson. Edward is indeed in the box for Providence, and it does appear like it's going to be a Topes power play, as Peck has called out which offensive zone circle he wants the draw to be at. So it does look like the Mass Lottery power play will get its first crack of the Saturday night. Power play that has not gotten a whole lot of looks since the series in Iowa that saw them go 3 for 8 over 2 games. They've only had 3 combined power play chances in the last 2 games coming into tonight. I should say they went a combined 3 for 8 against Hartford here on the 26th, and then in the first game against Iowa on Friday the 31st. It will be a power play for Springfield. The only extra penalties are the fighting majors to Sweezy and Peterson. Draw to the right of DiPietro as the Topes try to break the ice here late in period 1. 4:12 left in the frame. Tied up draw. 1 by the Bruins, but jousted for in the far corner. Koskamaki, Pekka, and Luff doing the digging on the Springfield side of things. They're on with Johannesson and Dvorsky. All 4 Bruin penalty killers in a very tight window, trying to rip that loose puck out of the pile. Puck possession out of this will be important, and the Bruins come away with it. Riley Duran moves up ice with it. Duran trying to split 2 T-Bird defenders. Johannesson did a good job getting back to fend off the rookie. And now Dvorsky takes over. He'll start his way up ice, feeding on the right wing to Pekka. He'll gain the zone with Luff. Luff trying to go through the middle. The pass knocked down in the slot and skipped all the way down the ice by McLaughlin. 1:20 left on the penalty time to Edward, as Johannesson will now start it from his own goal line. Moving his way to center and dropping it back for Pekka. Pekka across the red line. Rolling puck as he feeds left wing for Koskamaki to the near side. Luff trying to go against the grain back to point position, but it's knocked away to center by McLaughlin again. Bruin penalty kill has been very good this season and even better on the road than at home. They're over 84% on the road and almost 88% against the T-Birds this season, 21 of 24. Johannesson, zone, sends Stenberg away to center. Left wing feed a little too far ahead of Robertson. Stenberg will try to retrieve in the corner against Millman. Mitchell also in there for Providence. Yet again, another board battle. Stenberg, Robertson, and Alexandrov now, the three Topes in there. Precious time dwindling off the man advantage. Topes have yet to get a shot on so far in this man advantage. Farinacci looking to rip it loose. Stenberg trying to use his feet to soccer it out of there. He finally dug it loose to Robertson, and now Kessel walks the line with it. Matt Kessel feeding on the left to Stenberg. Stenberg the shot in front. Save DiPietro. Rebound right side. Alexandrov firing. DiPietro the save. Nicky still battling for the loose puck, but the Bruins eventually win possession, and Viel rolls it down the length of the ice. Ellis quickly feeds up to Alexandrov at the red line. Nicky steps back into the Providence zone. Robertson flips it in further. Edward is out of the box. Bruins back to full strength. Both teams now with a successful PK in this first period with just over 2 minutes left in the frame. We remain scoreless. Topes and Bruins. And what has been a goaltending dandy in this first period. 21 combined saves by Ellis and DiPietro. 13 of them for DiPietro. Bushinger in front of his own net for Dickinson, and now Zach Dean up the right wing through center. Gain center, skated in across the Bruins zone, but didn't get it deep. Skinner will move it to the Providence zone, but couldn't step in. It would have been offside. Terry now wheels back at his own zone with it for Providence. Mass to the near side, locates Brunet. Brunet connecting with Tufte. Now Brunet on the return. Gains the T-Bird zone, left wing side, rolls it in wide of the target. Bushinger gets body position on Letary and looks to send Dickinson away to center. Tanner will play it as far as the Providence blue line. Jackson Edward skates deeper into his own end before outletting to Jones and in deep. Ellis knocks it down with his skate. Bushinger on to play it. Pass Skinner on to Dickinson. Through the middle, dangerous pass picked off by McLaughlin. McLaughlin moving down the slot. Durand following up, but he's tied up by Dean nicely. Now McLaughlin out of the left wing corner. Back to the blue line for Edward. Edward trying to flip one toward the front. Knocked down in traffic by Sam Bitten. Dean's been caught on the ice for a while. McLaughlin to it. He'll roll it around to the near side. Edward at the point. Sends it in deeper for McLaughlin once more. Mark McLaughlin spinning away from Skinner. McLaughlin trying to cut in front. Skinner riding him from behind. Edward in from at the left point. Looking it down to the corner. McLaughlin tries the other side now. Mitchell with fresh legs off the Providence bench to it in the far corner. Ian Mitchell surveys. Bruins looking to get one late in the period. Pitlick out at the blue line. Looking for a lane. Returns to Mitchell. Mitchell right side in the slot. Harrison opens and fires. Blocked in traffic by Bushinger. Sam Bitten will just chip it off the glass to center, getting Dean a much needed change. Bruins want to counter quickly. Pitlick at the red line. Forced to just send it in. Springfield did a good job completing their change. Schuenemann able to golf it ahead to McEachern. 10 to go in the period. Through the middle it comes to Dvorsky. Dvorsky across the zone, leading for Kessel, but he fanned on a shot attempt. Dvorsky on the right wing, 5 to go in the period. Alexandrov in the corner, McEachern in front for Dvorsky. Tried to slip it into the front of the net area. It was knocked aside by Mitchell. Boy, it would have been interesting to see if Schuenemann might have had a chance in the dying seconds of the period, but we'll never know. Boy, what a great first period for the goaltenders. 13 saves for DiPietro, a number of 10 bell saves for the Providence All-Star netminder. And on the Springfield side, Colton Ellis didn't see as much work, but out of his 8 saves, there were a couple fantastic ones in there for the T-Bird backstop as well. 20 minutes in the books on Isotopes night, and like a night ago in Providence, Springfield and the P Bruins go scoreless through 20 minutes of play. First intermission report on the way next from the Thunderdome. Topes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. 20 minutes in the books on this Isotopes night here inside the Mass Mutual Center. I'll be joined by one of our friends from Belize Hyundai later in this intermission. Belize, of course, has been the proud partner of ours on this Isotopes vision from the very beginning. But we're going to mix up the order of our intermission a little bit, keep you on your toes in the listening audience back home. We begin with the Rafferty Fine Grading out-of-town scoreboard update and road report. Scores across the American Hockey League on this Saturday. Two games that have already gone final earlier today. One a final in Winnipeg, where the Iowa Wild bounced back out of the All-Star break with a 3-1 win over the Moose. It's nearly a shutout performance in net for Samuel Halavine before former Thunderbird Dominic Toninato broke up the shutout for the Moose in the final minute of the third. Still a 3-1 win for the Wild. And the Laval Rocket pick up their 29th win of the season, a 3-2 shootout affair in Toronto against the Marlies. That saw the two clubs play a scoreless third period and a scoreless 5-minute overtime. The Laval penalty killed the stars of the show in that game. They went 6 for 7 on the PK in that game. Laval with such a good record despite being by far the most penalized team in the American Hockey League this season. Other games in action. It's a final in San Jose. The Barracuda, a 5-3 win over the Tucson Roadrunners. In Bridgeport, the Charlotte Checkers with a 1-0 lead over the Islanders as they try to knock off back-to-back opponents from the state of Connecticut after Charlotte shut out the Hartford Wolfpack a night ago. Syracuse with a 1-0 lead on the Hershey Bears at the end of period one. And in Wilkes-Barre, a wild 2 periods between the Penguins and Cleveland Monsters. It's Cleveland holding a 4-2 lead on a pair of goals by Joseph Labate. Grand Rapids, a 2-1 lead on Milwaukee in the late stages of the first. T-Birds will be seeing both of those teams later this week on back-to-back days, in fact, on Wednesday in Grand Rapids and on Thursday in Milwaukee against the Ags. The Utica Comets hosting Belleville tonight. It's a 2-1 lead for the B-Sens at the end of period number one. And in Allentown, it's Lehigh Valley 1 and the Hartford Wolfpack no score. The Wolfpack trying to avoid an 8th consecutive loss. Games later tonight in the West, the Texas Stars playing host to the Rockford IceHogs. Henderson playing host to the Calgary Wranglers. Ontario hosting the San Diego Gulls. Colorado Eagles playing host to the Abbotsford Canucks. And the Bakersfield Condors will host the Chicago Wolves to round out yet another busy Saturday slate across the American Hockey League. Out-of-town scoreboard update brought to you by Rafferty Fine Grading, New England's premier asphalt recycling company. More to come in the intermission here in Springfield. The Isotopes and the Bruins scoreless after one very strong goaltending period on this Saturday night in front of a sold-out Thunderdome. Isotopes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield.
their kids, their family, their relatives, all coming out for a great night in Springfield to enjoy some fantastic hockey. And what a great night to have with the Isotopes.
I'm going to give you a chance now to kind of talk up your company a little bit. And maybe it's topical because we're all going to be racing home after the game in a bit of a snowstorm tonight. So tell us what kind of deals and specials you have coming up at Police. I understand with President's Day, which is also always happens to be my birthday, so I always know when President's Day is because of that. Tell us about some of the things you have going on right now, both in business and in the community.
Well, with the Zamboni rolling around here, we have the Hyundai Tucson. Fantastic all-wheel drive. Handles just like it is on the ice right now with the all-wheel drive 8-track system. We have some fantastic lease specials with no money down. That's the theme we're doing right now, keeping money in your pocket, spend on a vacation, spend on something else with your family. Come on in, take a wonderful payment with a brand new vehicle with some maintenance included and a fantastic warranty.
Believe me, when you've driven nothing but a two-wheel drive vehicle, making the switch to all-wheel drive, especially in New England in February, it's a life changer. So if you're thinking about it out there, this is my plea to you. Do it when you have a chance. Brian, I'll let you get back in a moment here, but before we let you go, what's the most exciting part of just this night, and what was the impetus from the beginning of Police wanting to be the ones to put their stamp on Isotopes night on top of so many great options of things to be partnered with the T-Birds? What made Isotopes speak to you guys the most?
Just being able to change up the whole atmosphere. When you sit there and you say, hey, you got the Thunderbirds always. After the game, they have a fantastic history of selling out the jerseys so people can actually wear them. You see them all over the crowd tonight. People in the past have bought them. And then just the sellout crowd. Belize likes to make it big. So tonight, what a fantastic night. We wish the snow would start around midnight, but unfortunately, everybody get home safe tonight.
We'll find a way. And yes, echoing your sentiments, Brian, get home safe tonight. Those of you who are inside the Thunderdome, if you happen to be listening from inside the Dome, and I know some of you are down there in the bowl. Brian, thanks so much for taking the time to join me. Enjoy the rest of the night. And
hey, have a great birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. We're not there yet, and it's reaching the point where I no longer get excited for it when you hit a certain age point. But
oh, you're in the 40s like myself?
I'm getting there. Not quite, but I'm close. Closer than I'm proud to admit. Brian Hauser, my guest here tonight from Police Hyundai. More to come after this. T-Birds / Isotopes and Bruins. More next in the intermission, brought to you by MGM Springfield. All right, awesome. Thanks so much. Make sure you celebrate a good 40th. I know. I got a little over 6 years until that.
So my 40th, I brought 16 friends. My wife's Dominican, down in the Dominican Republic. Make sure you, all of us can still come together. Make sure you have 40 special.
Only promise if I'm still calling hockey. Only promise if I'm still calling hockey. I can't very much get away if I'm still calling hockey in February. But I'll see what I can do.
Weekend trip.
Sure. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much.
Isotopes and Bruins scoreless after 1:21 combined saves in the first period for Michael DiPietro and Colton Ellis as The marquee goaltending matchup we thought we were going to get on paper so far has lived up to every bit of its billing to this point. Fans, the fine folks at Bates Fulham Insurance have been catering to the needs of Western Mass neighbors for 2 generations, ensuring that you can enjoy the peace of mind that comes from professional expertise, personalized service, and a proven commitment to protecting the customer. Bates Fulham offers a wide range of insurance and related financial products and services to suit the needs of both individuals and businesses. Whether you're seeking basic protection for your property, customized personal coverage for your family, or financial and health-related products for you or your business, the staff of highly trained professionals is eager to help. Call or stop by one of 3 area locations. Bates Fulham Insurance, a family-to-family business since 1954. 13 shots in the first for the Isotopes, 8 shots in the first period for the Bruins. Nothing as of yet past the 2 goaltenders. 1 power play per side, no successful man advantages obviously in a scoreless game through 20 minutes. Period 2 on the way next from the Thunderdome as the Topes and Bruins look to break the ice. Thunderbirds/Isotopes Hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. Well, for a second straight night, we go to period number 2 scoreless between Springfield and Providence. 13 first period saves for Michael DiPietro, 8 first period saves for Colton Ellis. Both netminders were splendid in that first period. Matt Lupp with a couple of great chances on the Springfield side. Rang one off the crossbar. Otherwise, DiPietro had every single answer in that first period. Ellis also came up huge. Just moments after, a huge save by DiPietro at one end of the ice on Lupp. It was Max Jones turned away on a breakaway by Ellis at the other end. We move on to period at number 2. Topes will be attacking from right to left in those yellow alternate jerseys with the pink donut sprinkle style stripes and the nuclear reactor logo across the front. Bruins in their road whites with the spoked P jersey. They move from left to right. Identical situation to a night ago. Springfield went tied after 1 this year. They are 8-3, 1-3. The Bruins 6-4, 1-0 when entering the second period deadlocked. Second period has been a lucrative period for offense for both of these clubs. 51 second period goals for Springfield, 48 for the Bruins. For both these teams, it's the most goals they've scored in a period this year. The Bruins have the first handle of period 2. Ryan Mast up the near side. Vinny Lettieri will tap it inside the Springfield zone. Corey Schoeneman back to golf it out in center to McEachran. Kenzie McEachran down the left wing, drops it for Alexandrov. A rink wide pass deflected and goes rocketing into the first row of the upper bowl. Good stick defensively by Brunet, keeping Alexandrov from finding Dvorsky on the right wing side. Just 15 seconds into period number 2 and the clock comes to a halt. Colton Ellis quickly going over to the T-Bird bench, asking, I believe, for a new skate blade. Thunderbird equipment manager Casey Barilli works quickly on the netminder's right skate. It's amazing how quickly you can pop those skate blades in and out. Of course, you see it sometimes with skaters on the ice. If a puck hits it in just the right spot, it can actually knock the blade out and make you look like you're learning to skate for the first time all over again. But Ellis seems to be all right. More trusting in his edge work. Back in the crease. Drawn to the right of DiPietro at the other end. Dvorsky's unit on to start period 2. He with Alexandrov and McEachran. Dalibor wins the draw back to Schuneman. He'll walk the line, left point. Turning on to Alexandrov, down in the corner, McEachran. Now Dvorsky behind the net. Right back to McEachran. They look to continue the cycle. Mack gets it around the goal again. It bounced over the stick of Dvorsky. Kessel in from the right point to keep it moving. Alexandrov from behind the net. Back on the right wing. Kessel played it neatly out of his feet. And behind to McEachran again. Checked by Mass, but Alexandrov there with the support. Trying to throw a reverse hit onto Brunet. But the Bruins work it loose. And Merkulov sends it through center to Lettieri. Lettieri moving up the left wing. Lettieri's shot. A save made by Ellis. Mast was trying to crash the net. Good awareness by McEachran to follow Mast up the ice stride for stride and keep that from becoming an odd man attack. Ellis makes a relatively easy save on a long wrist shot from Lettieri and stops play. But draw to the right of the T-Bird netminder. Looking to pull even with DiPietro with 16 wins on the season. He hopes by night's end. Ellis has fared very well against Providence this year. He's won 3 of his 4 starts against them. Ellis has been very good in general in his last 3 starts. All wins. He's given up only 4 total goals in those 3 games. Zach Dean now ahead to center. Topes looking to get numbers up the ice. Dean down the right wing. Poked by Millman, but Dean presses on to the front of the net. Got a shot away. Save made. Rebound. And arriving on the doorstep, Robertson, but DiPietro got the pad down. Now Koskamaki behind the net. DiPietro takes a spill in the crease looking for a penalty. He's not getting the call. Now they stop play. I'm not sure how you can, in that situation, the T-Birds have clear puck possession. You either have to know immediately if DiPietro's in trouble and blow play dead immediately, or you gotta let it play out. And I'm not trying to speculate if DiPietro's trying to sell a call there. Providence athletic trainer Rob Tagle is out to take a look at his netminder. Looked like DiPietro caught maybe an accidental stick as Koskamaki was just kind of trying to cut through the top of the blue pin. I don't think there was any ill intent there. It's possible he got clanged by a stick, but speaking from DiPietro's perspective, if as a referee you're trained, if you think the goaltender is in any peril whatsoever, you have to blow the play dead immediately. And I think that's why the T-Birds aren't happy that they didn't let play continue, because they let the T-Birds maintain possession for another 3 or 5 seconds before finally stopping the play. And the Bruins, I'm sure, also have a beef of why wasn't the whistle blown sooner if there was any thought that DiPietro could be in some trouble. You certainly don't want to see an all-star netminder injured, and it's good to see DiPietro back to his skates and seems to be all right. No penalty on the play. It'll just be another draw in the Providence zone to the left. The goaltender, former Vancouver Canuck draft pick, who has really flourished since arriving in the Boston organization a year ago. Hard to believe Michael DiPietro began last year in the ECHL and has climbed his way up to be one of the best in the AHL. Very similar to how Brandon Bussey burst on the scene in 2022. Robertson and Dean now in the battle against Millman in the far corner. So Topes trying to get the puck back. Johansson moves it down the far wall. Koskamaki tied up by Farinacci. Farinacci, the Harvard product, will leave it for Mason Millman. Millman ahead for Riley Tufte. Back feed in the skates of Mitchell. Koskamaki will arrive on the scene there. Loose puck sits in the circle. Dean flies up to get to it left wing corner, but Tufte able to knock him down. Millman now takes a look and winds it around the dasher to Lysell. Now Ian Mitchell from his own blue line ahead off Farinacci and Indeed. Ellis will settle it behind his net. Leo Loof calmly takes a pulse and then works it up to Luff in center. Luff across the Providence blue line at a poke check, but Bitten is there for it, and he'll swing it around the Bruin goal. Teamers completing a change as Brunet starts his way to center. Gets the red line and plays it in off the skate of Hunter Skinner. Skinner will now elevate it out in center to Pekka. Pekka up the left wing, hands on to Luff. Luff left wing side, takes a look, and behind the play we have a scrap. It's going to be Jeff Viel and Sam Bitten, a heavyweight bout. Two of the toughest combatants in this league as Bitten starts firing with rights over the top. Viel comes back with one of his own. These are two of the fiercest heavyweights in the league. And boy, they're living up to the billing. Bitten a couple right hooks over the top. He's lost his helmet. Viel comes back with an uppercut. Bitten hanging in there. Another one on the back of Viel's helmet. Viel's still not giving up as Bitten knocks him down. Viel comes back with a wild right though. Bitten down to a knee and the linesmen swoop in. Jeff Viel, the AHL's leader in penalty minutes, 110 of them now. And Sam Bitten and Viel, a couple of games in this building, they have eyed each other up. They've been waiting for the right timing and the right moment to do it, and in front of a sold-out Isotopes night crowd, boy, they took center stage, and fans of both teams and every player on both benches certainly got an energetic kick out of that. Pound for pound in this division, I'm not sure two tougher men exist than Bitten and Viel, and boy, it is a thankless job to do just what Viel and Bitten did there, but it certainly lit a fire under both benches, and that's the intent. Now, which team will get the next goal following the scrap? Skinner at the right point, swings it down for Pekka, looking to force feet in front. Stenberg was lurking. Bruins come loose with it, and Tyler Pitlick bounces it out to Patrick Brown through center. Skinner knocks down the entry attempt. Puck still sits in neutral ice, and McLaughlin will now roll it the rest of the way in. Ellis will leave it side of his net for Skinner, around the boards far side to Luff. And that Luff will send a high pass inside the Bruins zone. Mitchell comes back and gets an icing whistle. It looked like Mitchell took a roundabout route to get to that puck, but he draws the stoppage in play, and the Bruins will get an offensive zone draw, 2:45 into the second. Now Sweezy and Peterson are having a conversation between the penalty boxes. Doesn't look like it's a heated one, but they of course both scrapped late in period one. Don't know if we'll have an encore there, but they're certainly two willing combatants in their own right. Mitchell from the right point, a wrist shot wide out the far side. Mason Millman will move down to catch up to it, and behind for Lettieri, trying to spin a backhander out front. Bushinger kicks that aside. Otto Stenberg now in center, locates Luff. Luff will lob it deep in the Providence end, wide of DiPietro's net. Luff in pursuit against Merkulov. Mitchell comes back as the third man in support for the Bruins. That headmans it out to center. Matt Kessel now for the Toast. In off the skate of Luff, it'll roll toward DiPietro. He'll keep it in play for Mitchell. Up the near side, racing is Schuneman, but he had his stick lifted by Lettieri. Come back down deep into the Springfield end now. Kessel tries to shake loose from Jones. Merkulov arriving on the scene. Borski and Lettieri together in the far corner, jousting for it. Jones arrives to it, feeds the point Brunet. D onto Mast. Mast looking for a lane, passes it through the slot, but Jones couldn't get it off his skate cleanly. And McEachran will just swing it back out to center ice. Brunet across for Mast. Ryan Mast up the near side, Lettieri. The offensive blue line is rink-wide feed off the skate of Schuneman, and McEachran back the other way. And on the right wing to Alexandrov. Nicky to the circle, in low McEachran, but the pass behind him. Back trying to keep it alive as Dvorsky jumps in to join him. Alexandrov right wing half-boards with a net. Nicky surveys, trying to spin away from a check by Lettieri. Lettieri digs it loose and outlets it to center. The Bruins play it as far as the T-Bird line. Kessel steps up for a hit on Merkulov. Schuneman ahead, Koskamaki on left wing, just out of the reach of Alexandrov. Mast back for it, turning up the near side, and he'll force it out to Jones in center. Duran now skates it across the Topes line and tries to pursue, but Koskamaki ran a little impedance, legal impedance there. Johannesson now on to Loof. Loof from his goal line up the near side, safely to the line, not out just yet though. Farinacci will roll it in deeper. Ellis out to try to keep it from Duran. Duran back up the near wall. Farinacci spins away from a check from Dean. John Farinacci centering one. It came loose near the top of the paint. T-Birds take care of it. And Koskamaki will roll it out across the red line. Jackson Edward now for Providence in his own zone. Takes a look over the options. Only one shot for each team in the first 5 minutes of the second. Zach Dean now in front of the Bruin bench, maneuvers across the center line and will hoist it in. Both teams go for more changes. Mitchell hit by Robertson on the far side. Simon trying to win puck possession for the Isotopes. The way to center comes Harrison trying to pitch it forward. Skinner in a race with Lysell. Hunter did a good job to get back first, and now in counter rush through center, it's Pekka. Across the Providence line, left wing feed, left rink wide pass on to Stenberg, but he overskated it. And Bushinger had his stick lifted right as he tried to take a shot. Passed ahead for Lysell. Rink wide pass couldn't connect with McLaughlin. Skinner back up the glass. Luff deflects it down with a high stick at the Bruin line. Pekka follows up, but the play goes offside at the Bruin zone. 5:31 gone by in period 2. We are still scoreless here in Springfield on this Saturday night. Very similar game to what we had last night when we didn't have a goal until close to the midpoint of regulation time. As like Jarenko and Bussy last night, Ellis and DiPietro showing no signs of getting anything easily. It's not surprising these two teams have been as staunch defensively as they have. The Bruins, the top defensive team in the league from a goals against average perspective. They're allowing only 2.5 per game. Best in the league. And the T-Birds have not given up more than 2 in regulation or overtime in their last 4 games. Put that together with the goaltending matchup we have, and we're getting about what we expected here tonight. Sluff bounces one in deep. Sweezy to it in the far corner. The Bruins break it out. McLaughlin with some space. Easier said than done to gain skating room so far in this one as McLaughlin and Kessel go. Hog-tying one another, trying to get a loose puck. Now Robertson up the ice, 3-on-2 for the Topes here. Pekka in on the left wing, dropping to Kessel. Kessel across, Pekka the one-timer, blocked away by Brunet. Good closeout by Frederick Brunet. And the Bruins send it all the way down the ice. This will be icing against Providence as Schuneman goes back for the whistle. 13:44 remaining in period number 2. Again, the few chances in this period where teams think they have something dialed up in the offensive zone. There have been quick closeout lanes and really good connected play in the defensive zone from both clubs. Dvorsky, McEachern, and Alexandrov will now try to break through against the McLaughlin unit, forced to stay out following the icing whistle. Tied up draw, won by Dvorsky. Schuneman across for Alexandrov in the high slot. He'll push it in low to McEachern. McEachern spins and fires wide of the target. To the left circle it goes. Schuneman pinches down to it. Dvorsky now from behind the net. Dvorsky back out at the blue line for Kessel. Kessel into the high slot. Schuneman opens up and shoots. He missed it high on the stick side of DiPietro. McEachern now on the left wing. Plays catch with Dvorsky, trying to play it back to point position, but Tufte knocks that down. Sends it as far as the Springfield line. Alexandrov quickly up ice to McEachern on the left wing. Kenzie McEachern takes a look, looking for reinforcements. He's shoved to the glass by Tufte. Schuneman follows up to find Dvorsky. He shields himself from a big hit. Alexandrov now in front. McEachern firing and a save made by DiPietro. At the right point, it's Kessel looking for a lane. Sends it toward the front off the leg of Mast, and then Schuneman overskates the rebound, and the Bruins clear. Dvorsky back to his own zone to get to it. Kessel up the right side. McEachern inside the offensive blue line will just roll it in deeper. He needed to go off on a change. Alexandrov now has Sweezy locked with him in the far corner. Luff arriving next for the T-Birds alongside Brown for the Bruins. And Mast away with it now for Providence. Outletting out to center ice. Brown will play it off the far boards and backhand in. Ellis out on the trapezoid to stop it. Pass handcuffed Johannesson a bit, but Dickinson in good support got it on to Peterson. And head to center comes Leo Loof into the rush. Loof up the left wing, leaving it on the wall. Actually, he'll carry it himself into the corner before getting shoved to the glass by Sweezy. Jackson Edward now trying to transition to offense, but his pass knocked down by Dickinson. Peterson back on the scene again. Sweezy trying to get away from the pressure. Up the near side locates Brown. Patrick Brown, dangerous pass across ice, but Edward flanks it. Edward across the Springfield zone left side, a shot kicked out easily by Ellis. Edward will roll it around to the near side now. Bushinger comes together with Letary. Vinny Letary looking for somewhere to go with it. Found Merkulov for a shot. Save made Ellis. Merkulov now around the net with it far side of the point. Edward a one-timer punched away by Ellis with the waffle board. Jones in the far corner. Big reverse hit on Dickinson. Now Letary trying to scoot in front with it, but the puck rolled past him. We'll keep it moving on to Jones in the right corner. Dickinson there to corral him, but Jones muscles his way in front. Letary firing a save made. Rebound spun in front. Knocked aside, I believe, by Peterson. As Ellis was sprawling to try to get back in position. Letary trying to bank it in now. It comes to point position for Edward. Edward on the left, Merkulov. In low for Lettieri. Best pressure for the Bruins this period. Lettieri trying to feed the point. 2 sticks in the way. And Peterson sends it out through center, but they don't get it deep. Merkulov ahead for Lettieri, and on the right side, but offside go the Bruins at the Springfield blue line. And that brings a halt to play. As Skinner and Merkulov briefly have some more words as we go to break. 11-11 remaining period 2. Tied at nothing on the board, tied at 14 on the shot counter. Dead even, just about any way you slice it here in Springfield. The Topes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. $11-11 remaining in period 2. The Isotopes and the Bruins, each with 14 shots, but Michael DiPietro and Colton Ellis have both been perfect in between the pipes so far tonight. Much busier period for Ellis. 6 shots for the Bruins through the first 8 minutes and change. Only 1 attempt on the Providence goal for the Topes. Get a neutral zone face-off. Bruins really had the Topes hemmed in quite a bit for about a minute to a minute and a half before Springfield mercifully got a clear and then a whistle. Koskamaki, Dean, and Robertson on for the neutral zone face-off against the McLaughlin trio. Bruins away with it. Mitchell at his own blue line up the near side for Durant. Bounce it inside the Springfield end. Kessel is there to gather. Schoenemann ahead. Koskamaki couldn't hang on to the pass in center. Mitchell will send it back in deep. Ellis will move it from behind his net onto Kessel. Kessel had mans in center. Koskamaki deflecting onto Robertson. Now Alec on the right wing. Couldn't get past Millman. Kessel spins to the inside in the neutral zone. Buys himself some time onto Schoenemann. Schoenemann bouncing it into the Providence zone. Dean in pursuit. Millman calmly plays it out of his feet, nearly played it right back into traffic. Koskamaki will roll it back to point position for Schoenemann. Schoenemann trying to get around a check, but the Bruins poke it out to center. Good back check work by Robertson to keep Harrison from trying anything on an outnumbered attack. Schoenemann battling a rolling puck, rolls it down into the Providence zone. There's a delayed penalty coming here. I believe it's against Providence. Jake Cameras has his arm in the air for a cross check. And the Topes are going to be going to a power play. Brett Harrison's the guilty party, so somewhere on his way to the bench, Harrison threw a needless cross-check on a Topes player, and he ends up in the sin bin. And so Springfield goes to the mass lottery power play, just shy of the midpoint of regulation. We are still waiting our first goal of the night. Chance for the man advantage to crack its mini goose egg over its last 4. Pekka, Koskamaki, Luff, Dvorsky, and Johannesson, the quintet on the ice. Unit that is also just 3 for 25 this year against the Bruins. Providence wins the draw. Brunet around his neck. Dvorsky creeps down on Pitlick in the far corner, looking for some help from Luff and Pekka both on the scene. Loose stick on the ice. Luff finally pulls it out of a pile around to Koskamaki on the left wing boards. Back to the blue line, Johannesson, who holds the zone. Johannesson across to Dvorsky in the right wing circle. Dalibor the shot. Knocked down in front. Luff digging for the rebound, but DiPietro got on top of it and covered it. Matt Luff has been all over the place tonight for the Topes, but he just cannot buy one, as that shot by Dvorsky looked like it might have even hit Luff in the arm or hand before falling down into the blue paint, but DiPietro calm in the eye of the storm, able to shut it down. 25 seconds gone on the penalty time to Harrison. Bruins change forwards as now VL will take the draw against Pekka. VL Raphael does his job. Sweezy around the near side. Didn't get a lot on the attempt to clear, but Koskamaki held in as a result. Dvorsky now on the right wing side. Works it down deeper. Luff again around the perimeter for Koskamaki. Left wing boards in the middle to Pekka. Now Johannesson walks the line with it. Left side Koskamaki. Koskamaki steps in. Rink wide pass deflected on its way to Dvorsky. Now Johannesson from straight away. To the right to Dvorsky, across for Koskamaki. Alec the shot, deflected wide, might have been blocked by Sweezy. Chance to clear, and Sweezy will get it out to center. Johannesson back to take it. Bruins trying to scurry a quick change. Koskamaki near the offensive blue line. Drifts back in center for whipping it cross ice to Pekka. 52 seconds left on the Harrison penalty. As Pekka goes for a skate in his own zone. Johannesson leaves for Pekka. He'll cross the red line with speed on the right wing for Luff. Luff leaves for Johannesson out at the blue line. Sammy down deeper for Luff again into the slot. Dangerous pass deflected away by Duran. Ellis will have to come out of his net to keep Duran from pursuing him further, and he'll clear it ahead. Koskamaki, another dangerous backward pass. Duran collides with Robertson in center. Meanwhile, Alexandrov inside the Providence zone with it. All by himself. Now getting some support from McEachran and Robertson. Bruins just trying to push their way to center ice, and Letary and Brown combined to get it done past McEachran. 10 seconds remaining on the power play. The pass deflected in center again by Letary. He has a man breaking up the ice. It's Brown. McEachran trying to catch him, and Mac did a great job coming all the way back. And now he sends Kessel up the ice. Penalty time is now over. Robertson over skating at the offensive line, but Stenberg plays it to open ice. McEachran right side with it now. McEachran to the front in the skates of Robertson with the pass. Mac now up the left side with it. Turns it in deeper. Alexandrov behind the net. Pinned by Millman. Stenberg there to take the handoff. Otto Stenberg left side to the point for Bushinger. D-to-D Skinner with space. The wrist shot. Save. Rebound loose in front. Gathering it in McEachran. It bounces through the paint. Alexandrov couldn't get a clean trigger pull. Now Alexandrov looks to center out front. Millman, though, accepts it and skates it up the right side, hitting Lysell. Lysell around Bushinger to the T-Bird line. Lysell right side has a man in front, but didn't have a passing lane. Now feeds the point. Mitchell a one-time cranker. Ellis the save off what looked like a deflection, and he covers the loose puck to stop play. Ellis and DiPietro making it clear that any goal scored tonight is not going to come easy. We're past the midpoint of regulation. We are still scoreless. Isotopes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. .733 remaining period two. Isotopes and Bruins have both had plenty of chances in this game, but nothing has gotten past Michael DiPietro at the Bruin end. Nothing has gotten past Colton Ellis at the T-Birds end of the ice. Now just over 7.5 minutes left in period two, as both of these teams, who have been playing some just cutthroat defensive hockey lately, showing no signs of changing that trend here tonight. Steve Konowalchuk has to be happier with his team limiting the shots and the chances for the Bruins, who had 44 attempts on net in regulation plus overtime last night. They've kept the Bruins to just 15 so far in this one. T-Birds, statistically speaking, allow the most shots per game in the American League at just over 33 of them per night, but they've allowed a combined total of 94 in their last two games. Koskamaki up the right wing connects on with Dean at the Providence line. Dean will turn it around to the left wing corner. Koskamaki up to it. Will roll it back to Bushinger at the point. Bushinger D-to-D for Skinner. Skinner looking for a lane to the net. Fired, and it's blocked by Farinacci. Bruins moving the other way on a counter rush. Tufte on the left wing couldn't get past Skinner. Bushinger up the boards. Robertson will locate it and will get it the rest of the way out to center at least. Sweezy by the penalty boxes will send it back in. Ellis got a good read on that dump in. He flags it down. Now Skinner skated himself towards center. Koskamaki up the left wing. got the red line before lobbing it safely in. Sweezy back up the glass near side through center. Lettieri met by Schoenemann in neutral ice. Merkulov will leave it back for Sweezy. Now Edward on the far side will send in. Ellis had it hop over and behind the net this time. Merkulov arriving to it on the right wing wall, but again, players having trouble corralling the loose puck. Schoenemann up the left wing. Sam Bitten back on after serving his fighting major with Viel. That sends a beautiful leak pass ahead for Peterson, who got drilled into the end wall by Brunet. He lost his balance a bit. Good to see Petey get back to his feet after what could have been a really terrible situation for him. He goes right back to the aggression we know from number 22 in isotope yellow. Loose puck in center, got through two Topes players, and now Jones ahead, sending it toward the front, but just out of the reach of Merkulov inside the T-Bird zone. Terry back around the boards at the left point, holding on to it. Millman, his wrist shot wide of the target. Ellis was fighting through a Merkulov screen. Mitchell now at the blue line will sky it down in behind the net. Merkulov cuts it off, knocked down to the ice by Kessel, but he dug it loose to Lettieri. Lettieri back around the dasher. It eludes both Merkulov and Kessel. Millman now sends it around the net. Springfield there to cut it off. It's Kessel fends off Lettieri. Makes it look so easy from behind the net, but Schoenemann stick breaks on him. Bad luck there for Corey. Lettieri for Merkulov into the slot. Space for Millman to shoot. Save Ellis. He gets the rebound, swallowed up, and stops play. Absolutely horrendous luck for Corey Schoenemann there, but Ellis saves the day as Millman with the best chance for the Bruins in this period, unable to crack the scoreless tie. 5:12 now remaining middle period. 0-0. Topes and Bruins brought to you by MGM Springfield. .5:12 remaining in period number 2. It remains a scoreless game. The Topes and the Bruins, each with 16 shots, each with nothing to show for it. As Michael DiPietro and Colton Ellis continue to be locked in. Even in the midst of unintended chaos, as Corey Schoenemann just trying to make a simple breakout pass, had his stick break in half on him. And that put him in a very compromising spot deep in his own zone. Mason Millman left all alone, moving right in from the blue line. And Ellis answers the call. Johannesson up the far wall to Lupp, back through the middle, dangerous pass. Ellis alertly will tap it away from Durand to the near side. That's how locked in these goalies are. Ellis even able to notice a situation there where his defense was a little late to react. Bruins starting to cause some trouble though. McLaughlin in the slot with it, spins it back to the line in low, and Harrison couldn't get a clean deflection on that pass attempt from Brunet. Luff now charging up at the other end. Brunet clears it back up glass towards center, and McLaughlin has it down the left wing. Challenging Johannesson one-on-one, cuts the middle and fires over top of the net. Otto Stenberg overskates the rebound. McLaughlin threw it right through the paint. Viel off the bench, shooting off a stick and wide. McLaughlin to it again in the left wing corner. McLaughlin's had his legs moving well on this shift. Viel trying to stuff a backhander out front. The Topes are up to that, and Luff will lob it across center. Stenberg follows up to cross into the Providence zone. Peck on the right wing, lost it though as he tried to make a move. Luff takes it back in center, and we'll get it back deep in the Bruins zone. Topes go for a change with just over 4 minutes remaining in period 2. Edward now surveys it. Off the left wing, Sweezy run into by McEachran. And then Brown was there to backhand it out to center ice. Skinner now inside his own zone with it for Springfield. Long for Michael Bushinger up the left side. Alexandrov stopped it at the offensive blue line, but Viel able to get back and take over possession. Race for the puck in center. Skinner able to keep it away from Pitlick, and he'll backhand it back to neutral ice safely. Now Dvorsky into the Bruins zone, cuts to the slot. Dvorsky to the right wing with it. All the way to the wall, spins to the inside. Dvorsky to the front, fires blocked away by Sweezy. Alexandrov arrives on the scene. McEachran now from behind the net with it. Kenzie McEachran trying to get it back out front. Alexandrov took a big hit from Sweezy in the far corner. McEachran, though, got it to point position for Bushinger. Opening up in the high slot, Dvorsky. Down for Bushinger again. Up high for Schuneman. Schuneman with a new stick. Fires deflected wide to the far corner. Man, these Bruins just close out those shot lanes so quickly. And there just wasn't anywhere to shoot there. Bushinger for Schuneman from center. He'll fire it right back in. Dean darting to it. He creates at least a disturbance, enough for Kessel to pick it up at the line. Schuneman left side with it, throwing it back in front. Dean stops it in the slot. His backhand try blocked by Brown. Bruins finally work it to center ice. As far as the T-Bird zone, it goes on the clear by VL. 2:40 remaining in period 2. We are still scoreless. Topes and Bruins. Robertson up the left wing. Defended by Sweezy. He'll roll it around to Koskamaki on the right wing goal line. Alec Koskamaki plays it back in low again. Sweezy there awaiting it. He'll play it up the boards to center. Bruins with numbers, but Kessel back and angled himself perfectly to that loose puck. Kessel keeps Tufte away from him. Now Schuneman. His goal line will play it safely off the glass to center. Behind the play, we're going to have a penalty. Kessel locked up with Tufte, and Kessel's going to get called for a slash in retaliation. Similar to the play that saw Harrison get baited into a penalty by a Topes player. Tufte draws the bait on Kessel here. So Providence will go to its second power play of the night with 2:16 remaining in period 2. As they will once again try to get somebody onto the score sheet for the first time tonight. Curry Honda penalty kill for Springfield going to work. Farinacci, Jones, Tufte, Brunet, and Lysell, the unit on the ice for Ryan Mujanel and the Bruins. Pekka, McEachran, Schuneman, and Loof, the T-Birds 4 on the ice. Kessel the one serving the penalty. Obviously would have been out there otherwise in this situation, but Loof filling in for him. Did a good job sealing off Jones on the wall. Sent in front though, and it bounced on Lysell. Out to center ice, perhaps Loof got just a piece on that centering attempt by Tufte to keep Lysell from having a clear lane to the net. Farinacci now picks up Lysell in on the rush. Lysell turns back on the right wing boards with it. Poke check by Schuneman, kept at the line by Brunet for a moment. Bruins somehow hold it in. Space for Jones, left side, slap feed to the back post. Tufte shoots and scores. Topes were so close to getting it out to the neutral zone with an odd man rush through center. But a wonderful keep by Brunet sets up the play, and Riley Tufte beats Ellis upstairs under the crossbar, and that's about the only way one of these goaltenders was going to get beat with a perfect shot. Tufte gives the Bruins the 1-0 lead, which is 1:46 remaining in the second. 14th of the season for Riley Tufte, but it's first against Springfield. Looked like Ellis even got a piece of it with the shoulder. Tufte got enough elevation on it to finally put the Bruins in front. Icing the call against the T-Birds moments after the restart to play. It'll be Tufte's goal from Brunet and Jones at 18-14. And in this goaltending duel of duels, Ellis finally blinks first, but wasn't for a lack of effort, as it looked like he did get a sliver of that shot attempt in tight. Bruins win the faceoff. They look to add on. Masta point shot bounces side of the net to Brown. Bushinger takes over. Michael will send it high in the air to center. Brunet gloves it down. Back inside the T-Bird end. Pass goes a little out of the reach of Brown. Now Zach Dean trying to push it out to center, but Biel got in his way. Mast from center sends it into the far corner. Bushinger rotates over to it. He'll send it out in center. Koskamaki up the left wing with it. Alec Koskamaki stops along the wall, waiting for a trailer in the middle of the ice. Had Skinner, but pass rolled underneath his blade. Biel pushes his way to center. Skinner trying to backtrack defensively. A good poke by Schuneman, knocked it high into the air. Now Topes take over. Schuneman muscling his way out to center with help from Dean. Alexandrov across to Koskamaki. 50 to go in the period as Alec will bounce it in. Alexandrov pursues against Millman. Ian Mitchell now. A backhand ahead, connects on to Lettieri. Jones and Kessel now arrive behind the net. Lettieri on the near side, spins it in deeper. Jones flagged it down. On the goal line, Max Jones gathers in the reins. Jones to the inside, turns and shoots, knocked down in front of the net, still a battle for it. And Dvorsky comes free away from Lettieri and then took a big hit from Jones. Schoenemann now from behind his net. T-Birds never did get the clear completed. Schoenemann will try again up the far boards. And this time it does come to center. Numbers for the Topes here. Dvorsky and Alexandrov. Alexandrov right side over skates and McEachran for Dvorsky in front. Alexandrov scores! What a response from the Topes in the dying seconds of the period. Alexandrov cashes in on the doorstep. We get more rough stuff after the goal was scored. We'll see if there's any penalties to dole out from this, but Nikita Alexandrov has brought the Topes back even with just 8 seconds left in period 2. It was not a work of art, that 3-on-2 rush. Dvorsky and Alexandrov were near the end of a shift. The Bruins were hustling back defensively. McEachran made the play up the ice. Looked like Millman was going to break the play up in the nick of time, but Alexandrov staying with it on the doorstep, able to push it over the line and get the Topes back even. It'll be Alexandrov's 9th of the season from Dvorsky and McEachran at 19 of 52. Boy, what a difference in psyche that will be for the Topes in the dressing room. And as both goaltenders blink in the final 2 minutes of period 2. As they work to reset the clock. It was McEachran and Jones who were locked up in that physical battle after the goal was scored, but the referees let bygones be bygones. No penalties called on either team, and period 2 comes to an end. Nikita Alexandrov's tally has the Topes feeling a whole lot different than they would have felt maybe 8 seconds later, as he evens the score, and he does so just a minute and 38 seconds after Riley Tufte had given the Bruins a 1-0 lead, and for a second straight night, we go to the third period tied at 1. More parallels in both ends of the home and home between these two long-time AHL rivals. We will go to the AHL Plays of the Week when we return for the second intermission report after this. Isotopes/T-Birds Hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. Well, this goaltending duel finally saw someone blink when Riley Tufte put one upstairs underneath the crossbar on Colton Ellis at 18-14 of period 2. But the Taupes answered the call in the final seconds of period 2. A bit of a disjointed odd man rush at the Providence zone, but Nikita Alexandrov polishes it off at the edge of the blue paint, finishing off a pass from Dvorsky and giving the Taupes a 1-1 equalizer, sending us into the second intermission in another identical situation from an evening ago. We now send it to the Rochester Americans, Andrew Mossbrooks, for this week's installment of the AHL Plays of the Week. Part 1 leaking into Part 2 for your listening pleasure.
The All-Star break has come and gone, and as the AHL season heats up, so too do the plays of the week. What's going on, hockey fans? This is Andrew Mossbrooks with the Rochester Americans, and we'll start by recapping the games heading into the league's annual midseason festivities. The Springfield Thunderbirds were in Iowa for the first time in franchise history and likely hope to return soon. This goal from Hugh McGing was his second of the night in the T-Birds' 7-2 rout of the Wild on Saturday.
Now McGing flying up the right wing with it. McGing to the circle, McGing the shot, he scores! The second tonight for Hugh McGing as he goes top cheese again. 3-1 T-Birds the score, 2:23 into the second, and Hugh McGing is feeling it so far this evening.
The Thunderbirds emerged from Des Moines, completing a 2-game sweep as they tamed the Wild. That was Pennsylvania's own Ryan Smith on the headset. Speaking of PA, we shift to a Keystone State team as the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins were in Charlotte and booked for a puck over the glass delay of game late in a tie game. But Jonathan Gruden pulled off a 200-foot effort to catch up to his own clearing attempt and swat the puck away from the Checkers goalie and ultimately give his team the win.
Reeled in by Smith, top of the right circle, skates down the wall, sent far side, kick save Murashov, rebound gathered by Gruden. He'll streak out of the Penguin zone, knocks it over the head of Benning, trying to chase it down, he whacks it in! Oh my goodness! Jonathan Gruden took it off the stick of Ken Appleby, scores shorthanded to give the Penguins a 3-2 lead!
The Pens now have points in 7 of their last 10 games. Nick Hart providing the excitement on that call. Up north, Florian Jacquet provided the game winner Friday and overtime heroics Saturday as the Rocket beat the Hartford Wolfpack last weekend in Laval.
There's a wrist shot, tipped in front, rebound! Florian Jacquet! Power play goal! Laval have the lead, 2-1. Extra 15 seconds left. On the forehand, drop pass over to the Jacquet. Jacquet shoots, scores! Florian Jacquet wins it in overtime!
That was Sean Campbell on TSN 690. The Rochester Americans capped off the week with a 4-3 OT win in Syracuse. It was the team's 4th straight win, largely attributed to prospect Isak Roseyan, who scored 2 goals in 3 straight games. And while that streak came to a close Saturday, Roseyan still found the back of the net in the clutchest of situations, scoring this overtime winner.
In skates, trying to kick away at it. It's under Kara, pops loose. The Amherst have it up the right wing. Here's Roseyan trying to break away, busting in on goal, moving in, shoots, scores! Roseyan, upper left corner, over the shoulder of Halverson in overtime. 29 seconds into OT. It's Roseyan to put it away, and the Amherst have won this one.
Roseyan has 7 goals over 4 games and was recalled to the Sabres during All-Star Weekend. Hall of Famer Don Stevens narrating that soundtrack. Not all shootouts are created equal, and with the Ice Hogs riding a 5-game losing streak into last Saturday, a 4-4 tie after overtime posed a key moment for Rockford to claim the extra point. Let's tune in to Dana Gray.
Bellows, the only thing standing in the way of the losing streak being snapped. The lefty shooter picks the puck up at center, cruises into the offensive zone, wide right, has the puck, jump on him, he misses! Weeks with a poke check, and the losing streak is over.
Week's deciding save marked the 2nd shootout win of the season for the Hogs over the Admirals. Now going west, down 2-1 in the second period, the San Jose Barracuda reeled off 5 consecutive goals en route to a 6-2 win over the Henderson Silver Knights Friday at Tech CU Arena. The victory was the club's 15th on home ice, which is the 2nd most in the league. Tristan Robbins got a feed from Shakir Mukamadulin and beat Akira Schmid on a breakaway.
Barracuda down by a goal. Tonight's 2, and the Barracuda 1. Shakir Mukamadulin working his way up ice from right to left. Seems to pass. He's got a man in Robbins. Busting right up the gut of the ice. Backhand scores! Oh, what a finish from Tristan Robbins. Well, what a setup from Shakir Mukamadulin as the seas parted.
That was Barracuda voice Nick Nolenberger, who had the call on the Sharks audio network. And we couldn't end this edition of Plays of the Week without some all-star fun in sunny Southern California. The league's best converging at Coachella Valley in a fantastic showcase. In the AHL All-Star Challenge of the round-robin tournament, cool goals for Owen Beck of Laval on his birthday and 20-year-old Yanni Neiman of the Coachella Valley Firebirds scoring for the partisan crowd.
Barrett Pouliot, leading scorer for Syracuse, fakes the shot and sets up the goal. It's Owen Beck, the birthday boy of the Laval Rocket. Happy birthday, Owen. Cameron Hebig gets it up to Newman. He's on a solo mission here by himself. Takes the shot and scores.
In the end, the Central Division topped the Atlantic in the championship game, which went to a shootout. All-Star MVP Kevin Korchinski of Rockford and veteran Curtis McKenzie of Texas scored back-to-back to seal it.
Korchinski. Rockford ice on, stick handling, and there's the reach. He got it to go.
That is something else there, that move for Kevin Korchinski, who spent almost all of last season with the Chicago Blackhawks, and what a move around Michael DiPietro, finishes on the back.
Curtis McKenzie, can he win it? Michael DiPietro trying to keep this going, and Team Central wins in a shootout. They are the champions of the AHL All-Star Challenge, presented by Spotlight 29 Casino.
With the All-Star festivities concluded, the focus now shifts to the Calder Cup playoff race, and we'll capture the best moments from this march to the postseason right here on your AHL Plays of the Week.
We thank Andrew for putting together this week's installment of the AHL Plays of the Week. We'll check in on the out-of-town scoreboard when we return. 1-1 our score after 2 here on Isotopes Night here in Springfield. Thunderbirds knee Isotopes Hockey, brought to you by MGM Springfield. One our score at the end of 2 here between the Isotopes and the Bruins. We quickly take a look now at the Rafferty Fine Grading out-of-town scoreboard update and road report. A couple of games that have gone final. Iowa a 3-1 win in Winnipeg over the Moose. The Laval Rocket a 3-2 shootout victory over the Toronto Marlies. Other final scores on the docket: San Jose 5-3 winners on home ice against Tucson. They're in overtime, and in fact, the game has just ended in overtime. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins come from 4-2 down after 2 periods to knock off the Monsters 5-4 in overtime. Sam Poulin tied that game in the third, with just 19 seconds left in regulation, and Owen Pickering won it for the Pens in overtime, with just 24 seconds separating the teams from a shootout. Milwaukee and Grand Rapids tied at 2 in the late stages of the second. Hartford a 3-2 lead in Lehigh over the Phantoms. Bridgeport has come back to take a 3-1 lead on the Charlotte Checkers at the end of 2. The Syracuse Crunch pouring it on in Hershey. They lead the Bears 4-0. Utica and Belleville tied at 2 after 2. The Rockford Ice Hogs a 3-2 lead on Texas at the end of a wild first period down in Austin. And a couple of games yet to begin. Henderson hosting Calgary, Ontario hosting San Diego, Colorado hosting Abbotsford, and Bakersfield hosting Chicago. Out-of-town scores brought to you by Rafferty Fine Grading, New England's premier asphalt recycling company. More after this. Isotopes and Bruins tied at 1 after 40 minutes. Isotopes hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. We got ourselves ready for the third here as the Isotopes and Bruins tied at 1. Topes Fans Copycat Print Shop is a full-service printing and copying office located in West Springfield that's been in the same location for more than 20 years. The staff is ready to assist with any copying, printing, and binding needs, and in fact, they can even help you design your next project. Just give them a call today or visit their website to request a quote. Bob and Jenny take great pride in caring for each of their customers personally, and that means they are ready to serve you too. Call 413-734-2679 or email wscopycat@gmail.com to get started on your next project today. Period 3 on the way next. Topes and Bruins tied at 1. Topes hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. To period 3 we go. The Isotopes and the Bruins tied at 1. A second straight night that these two teams have been scoreless after one. A second straight night tied at 1 after 40 minutes of play. Springfield hoping it's a different end result in the script tonight. They begin the third with Dvorsky, Alexandrov, and McEachran attacking left to right in the beautiful yellow Topes jerseys. Road whites for the Bruins. Only goals in this game came in the final 2 minutes of period 2, one for each team. Riley Tufte on the power play for the Bruins at 18-14. Nikita Alexandrov with just 8 seconds left in the frame for Springfield. As Dvorsky weaves his way out of trouble from behind his net, and now Alexandrov with it. Outletting through center, couldn't connect cleanly with McEachran though. Billy Sweezy ahead, and Merkulov will backhand inside the Springfield end. Kessel over to it first ahead of Letary. Corey Schudeman up the boards, knocked down by Merkulov. Second effort got it ahead, but Tufte holds the zone. Tufte down deeper for Merkulov off the right wing wall with it. Georgi Merkulov out to the line. Ian Mitchell, a wrist shot into traffic, deflects wide out the near side. Terry tried to bank it in front, but hit the back of the net with it. Dvorsky on the far side, pinned by Letary, who wins puck possession and behind for Tufte. The big man trying to shrug off Kessel as he feeds the point Millman, but it bounced past the young blue liner to center. Mitchell back ahead for Letary. Millman on the left wing. Tufte's drop pass comes all the way back to his own blue line. Mitchell there to play it. On to Millman. Now Lysell in center. Fabian Lysell in on the right wing for Farinacci. John Farinacci, an angle shot. Ellis a kick save. Behind the net, Farinacci retrieves, looks to center it out front. Kessel had it go off his chest, and Ellis sees it come to earth. And he'll just shut it down. Take a whistle. 1:15 gone by here in period number 3. Neither team has hit 20 shots for the night just yet. Bruins with 19. The Isotopes with 17. Shots on goal in that second period favored Providence 10-4, but the timely goal by Alexandrov in the closing seconds got the Topes back even. Draw to Ellis's left. It's Farinacci and Dean ready for the draw, but now Anthony Lapointe is going to kick Farinacci off the draw, so Tufte on his weak side against Dean. Dean does his job. Johannesson around the net, locates Robertson. High off the glass to center. Koskamaki will just pitch it past the red line. Millman will scale it back inside the Springfield zone. Leo Loof carrying it up ice, gets the red line, and will send it in around the boards near side. Robertson there for it first. Will send it back the other way. Nobody in yellow was over that direction. Dean still swept over to the spot and got to it. Now Koskamaki down the left wing, worked over by Brunet defensively. Brunet got some help from Farinacci. Now Mason Millman up the left wing, unable to connect with Lysell, who then toe-picked and fell to the ice, and that results in an icing call against the Bruins. I think Lysell probably would have won the icing foot race had he not hit the deck. Fabian Lysell hasn't been an AHL All-Star to show off his speed, but I have a hard time believing there are many players in this league faster than number 22 in Providence white, black and gold. Drawn to the right of DiPietro. Won by Farinacci. Millman around the net, ridden by Luff toward the end boards. An aggressive pinch by Bushinger, but Lysell spins off it and clears it to the line. Pekka handcuffed a bit. Does get the hold of it in center before scaling it back in. T-Birds had to retag. So that gives Brunet some time to calm it down. Ryan Mast ahead for Pitlick. Tyler Pitlick got through center. Now Brown down the right wing with speed. Drops to Pitlick. Pitlick the shot. He missed it on the stick side high. DL holds in out near the blue line. Around for Brown, right wing corner. Low to high again. Mast takes a look and fires it. Hit a body in front. Don't know if it was Pitlick or Skinner that took the brunt of that shot attempt. And the pass hit Luff in the back, literally the back in center. The Bruins try to create some hay inside the Isotope zone. Spun to the inside by Brown, but Stenberg there to clean it up and clear the zone. Mast at the red line will send it back deep. Around the glass, Ellis gloves it off the end glass. Got it ahead for Pekka. Now Matt Luff had to take a U-turn back toward his own zone. Brown picks it up on the left wing, sending it in front through a screen, and Ellis had to fight that one off. Sneaky little shot there from Patrick Brown. Pekka finally just lobs it over the top to center. Jackson Edward by the penalty boxes, skates it inside the T-Bird zone. He'll send it off the end boards behind the net. VL after it, he got thrown to the end boards heavily by Kessel. Now Sweezy from the right point, a punch shot deflected and made And a stick save, I should say, made by Ellis in all that commotion. I can barely say what's happening. I don't know how Ellis can calculate all these angles and bounces, but he made a fine save there, and he made it look a whole lot easier than it was, I assure you. Sweezy ahead for Brett Harrison. Harrison carries the mail across center to the T-Bird zone. A right wing pass a little too far ahead of McLaughlin, who now has Schooneman to deal with in the corner. Up the boards it comes. McEachran ducks back to get more possession time, and now Kessel. Back to McEachran through the middle. Back into the Bruins zone. Right wing dish Peterson. Curlin dragged the shot, and a glove save made by DiPietro. Peterson made a nifty little drag to open up a shooting lane for himself. On the Bruin goaltender up to that challenge as well. Now 17 saves for DiPietro, 20 at the other end for Ellis. So we're about 4 minutes home in the third of a 1-1 tie. On to DiPietro's left, Dvorsky, Alexandrov, and McEachran, the trio responsible for the tying goal late in the second on the ice. Dvorsky won the faceoff. Alexandrov pushing his way to the right wing corner. Bought enough time for Dvorsky to come over and support. Across for Leo Loop. He steps in, a wrist shot to the front. They score! Alexandrov's got another! And the Topes lead 2-1! Nikita Alexandrov with textbook in-zone offensive play. He wins the puck battle in the near corner, worked it back across the ice to Loop, and made a beeline to the front of the net with stick on the ice. Just perfect across the board from Nicky, who has now got 10 goals in just 20 American League games this year. And the Topes, like last night, have a 2-1 lead in the third. Now can they do what they couldn't do last night and try to preserve the advantage? Alexandrov's second tonight, 10th of the season. And he's now a plus 15 in addition to those 10 goals. He has been just a plus-minus machine for the T-Birds this year. Dvorsky and Loof, the helpers on the Alexandrov goal. Leo Loof into double figures with his 10th helper of the season. He's already surpassed his assist total from all of last year. He actually surpassed that mark weeks ago. Ryan Mast to the red line. Disjointed entry into the Isotope zone, and it goes offside. 15:43 remaining in the third. Alexandrov with 2 goals in 4 minutes and 9 seconds of game time to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 Topes lead. This young Springfield team, Steve Konowalchuk has said throughout the course of the season, there are building block moments for the team, both positive and negative. 1-goal games have been a little tough for Springfield so far this season. Just 6-6, 2-3 in games decided by a goal. The Bruins, on the other hand, have a winning mark in 1-goal contests, including 1-goal wins in each of the last 2 meetings between these clubs. Edward at the right point, punching one to the front. Ellis, a save on a redirection by Farinacci. Ellis again locked in during a change of pace play. Now Robertson up the right wing across the Bruins zone. Simon Robertson will just roll it safely and deeper for Dean. Dean against the end wall, couldn't get loose in front. Lysell on the far side, met by Dean again. Lysell spins away and finally airmails one out through center. Skinner will get back to it in front of his goaltender. Tufte looks to flush him out. Skinner up the near side. Stenberg will deflect in deep. Pekka pursues. DiPietro out to move it. Up the far side, Luff got to the spot, but the puck bounced over him. Brown now counters through center for the Bruins as their top line tries to do some damage like they did last night. Edward at the left point. Plays it right back down and behind the net for Brown. Pitlick off the left wing. Couldn't get it off his skates cleanly. Luff plays it back around his net. Bushinger takes a look around. Played it up the wall, but Pitlick read it and stole it. Pitlick to the front. Trying to center, and the pass deflected away from Brown. Surprised Pitlick didn't take that right to the net. Luff at the other end will take it to the net. Centering pass. They score! Otto Stenberg! and Stenberg has his first goal on home ice as a member of Springfield. 2 for the Topes in short order, and it's a 3-1 lead for the home side. 2 in the third, separated by just 101 seconds as Stenberg gets his second. And after he had been a shoot first player all night, Matt Love fooled me and fooled DiPietro with a perfect pass onto Stenberg's tape. And the Topes with insurance that they did not have last night in Providence. But the emphasis has to be on continuing. Bruins have not given an inch either of these 2 nights when it looked like Springfield was in a position to win. Don't expect them to go quietly into the night. Millman in the near corner, met by Dickinson. Harrison fanned on a pass attempt and then is swarmed by Bitton. Up the near side, McLaughlin goes against the grain to Mitchell as headman feed deflected into the O-zone by Duran. Duran trying to get around Schoenemann, and Schoenemann throws him down with a sturdy shoulder check. Rene now in center ice, works it across to Mast. Duran then tripped up by McEachran, no call made, that was close. Merkulov back the other way up the left side. Spinning it toward the front of the net. Luke protects it away from Jones into the near glass. Merkulov follows up on it though for the Bruins. Georgi Merkulov met by 2 yellow sweaters. Jones on the scene, took a shove from Luke. Mast over at the right point, holds in. He'll send it around the net for Jones. 3-1 Topes in front. 3 goals in not even 6 minutes of game action to answer a 1-0 lead for the Bruins. Lettieri with all kinds of space, steps in, shoots, and getting a piece with the stick was Ellis. Merkulov now slips it in front. Jones couldn't fire the shot, but Lettieri's on it now. Lettieri circles into the high slot and fires. Ellis never saw it. It bounced wide of the net. Mast all the way in deep, wrapped up by Johannesson. Topes on their heels a bit, but Luke digs in, wins a battle against Jones. Jones kicked it back in front. Johannesson aggressively able to poke it away from the middle of the ice, but Jones holds in right wing corner. Max Jones around the net near side. Little stiff arm, spins and fires. Ellis a save. Rebound comes out the far side. Lettieri to the front, he scores. You just had a feeling with how long that O-zone possession was going for the Bruins that bad things were going to happen, and Vinny Lettieri able to put it upstairs before Ellis could recover, and we got a 1-goal game again with 12:15 remaining in the third. Bruin team they're not in the top 2 of this division for nothing. As they respond after what could have been a real dagger moment for them tonight. And now they have thoughts of an equalizer as Farinacci moves it inside the Springfield zone, but they go offside at the offensive blue line. 11:57 remaining, third period. A very chaotic start to the final frame. We had no goals until there were 2 minutes left in the second. Now we've got 5 in the last 10 minutes of game action. Topes 3, Bruins 2. Final period continues here inside the Thunderdome. Topes Hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. .57 remaining in regulation time. The Topes put 2 on the board, 1:01 apart, or 1:41 apart from Alexandrov, his second of the night, and Stenberg. The Bruins answer. Just 2:03 after the Stenberg goal. Lettieri with his 15th makes it a 3-2 game. Topes clinging to the 1-goal lead. Neutral zone face-off. And that media timeout, a chance for Steve Konowalchuk and Ryan Mougenel to try to settle their teams down as things have gotten a little breakneck on either end. Skinner winds it up the far side. Koskamaki a chop of the puck. It got knocked down. Skinner races to it and got it ahead and center to Dean. Dean across the Providence zone, right wing side, leaves for Skinner. A one-timer from distance, bounced off an arm and wide. I think it might have hit DiPietro right at the top of the blue paint. Lysell now in center. Got it past Skinner to the T-Bird line. Tufte furthers it in past Pushinger. Koskamaki back to it for Springfield. Up the far boards, Dean. Dean has to come back deeper in his own zone to try to get away from trouble. And he does find a safety valve in Skinner. 11:18 remaining in the third. Again, Bruins have been used to playing these one-goal games this year and have had a lot of success in them. Stenberg from center will twirl it in. DiPietro will turn it to Sweezy. Up the far boards to Brown in center. Tapping through the middle to Tyler Pitlick. Pitlick with speed on the left of VL. Across ice feed. Brown with space. Brown the shot fought off by Ellis with the shoulder. Kessel up the far boards. Got it to Stenberg. Topes around to center with Matt Luff. Luff into the Bruins zone on the right wing. Trying to chip it into the corner, but Edwards shuts it down. Bruins look to counteract through center. VL for Brown. Returns quickly to VL, but a good poke by Kessel knocked it loose. And now Pekka away to center. 2-on-2 with Luff. Pekka leaves it on right wing wall to Luff. Matt Luff will just send it to an open corner on the far side. Stenberg trying to get there ahead of Edward, but Edward pushed it forward for Pitlick. Brown across the red line will backhand in. He pursues against Leo Loof. Bruin captain pushes Loof into the end boards heavily. Loof maintains his balance and tries to keep that puck wedged up against the wall. Johannesson also in there. Sammy rips it loose. Johannesson around the perimeter. Out for Tanner Dickinson, who will get the red line and skate it inside the Providence zone. And knocked down to the ice by Brunet for his trouble as well as we pass the midpoint of the third. Topes in front by a goal, 3-2. Bradley Duran into the O-zone. A long wrist shot misses over top of the glove of Ellis. To the near boards it comes. Peterson after it. Dickinson able to take control. He'll go around his net. Skinner up the near side. Peterson will get to it first. Protects it and spins his way to center. Peterson now getting some skating room, but battling a rolling puck makes the safe play to just lob it in deep and chase. Duran on the far side takes a big hit from Peterson. Sam Bitten kept it in out at the blue line for a moment. And now Peterson swoops to it. Peterson into the high slot. Leaving it at the line, but Skinner wasn't ready for the drop pass. McLaughlin moving up ice. Bruins trying to take advantage. A break to the net for Harrison. Save made by Ellis, but there will be a penalty. Slashing will be the call, and the Bruins will go to a power play. 9:19 remaining in the third. The parallels between last night and tonight continue. Bruins will again have a third period power play with a chance to tie when we return. Topes 3 and the Bruins 2. Thunderbirds / Isotopes Hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. Steve Konowalchuk's team is going to get their chance at redemption. Another nearly identical situation from a night ago. A little earlier in the third period this time around, though, the Bruins with a power play down a goal looking for an equalizer. Last night they didn't score on the power play, but they got the tally just 2 seconds after the 2 minutes had expired. Pretty chintzy slashing call on Skinner, who I thought got stick on stick. As Harrison still got a clean shot away on the breakaway. Curry Honda penalty kill with a huge task now. Kessel hard around the boards near side. McEachran collides with Letary. Brown held it at the blue line. Around the net it comes. Schudeman cuts it off, settles it down, and on the backhand, skies one a mile in the air and down the ice. That's a confident play. Play it up the middle on the backhand, but Schudeman did what he needed to do. And Mitchell will leave it for Letary. Letary, who has the second Bruin goal, works his way up. Pitlick on the right wing sends it around the net. Ellis cuts it off nicely. Trying to hand it off behind the net. Miscommunication, and Ellis is forced to just cover it. At the side of his net, it looked like Kessel and Ellis had a little mishap in deciding who would make the next play on the puck. Kessel thought he was held up a bit behind the net, and he's having words with Mike Dietrich, the referee. .125 remaining on the Hunter Skinner slashing penalty. Topes trying to protect a 3-2 lead, 8:43 remaining in the third. Draw one by Pekka, Schoenemann around the net, hard off the glass and down. 1:18 left on the power play. Mitchell back to take it, 8:35 remaining in the third. Topes 3 and the Bruins 2. Then Lettieri up ice with it, dishing for Pitlick. Now Lettieri on the return. Merkulov sends it around the boards to the far corner. McEachran and Pitlick come together there. Former St. Louis teammates colliding. McEachran still battling for it. It comes out to point position for Mitchell. We'll move it across for Merkulov left side. The shot knocked the stick out of the hands of Ellis. T-Birds badly need to clear. Kessel protecting it in the corner around for Schoenemann. Schoenemann hard off the glass. Got it to center, but Ellis won't be able to get his stick. Kessel alertly goes over and shuffles it to his goaltender. Bruins make a change. 35 seconds left on the power play. Frederick Brunet up the ice. Will drop it to Riley Tufte, who has the Bruin power play goal tonight. Tufte on the right for Farinacci. Trying to return to Tufte in the corner. Johannesson and Lysell now battle for it. Around for Kessel. He got it to the line and past Jones and down the ice. Quarter minute left on the power play. Brunet from his goal line starts his way up the ice. Frederick Brunet on the left to Jones. He'll send in. Hard off the boards. Ellis plays it. He'll try the glass far side. Knocked down by an onrushing Bruin. Louvre ties his man up. Skinner is back in the play. Bruins, though, looking dangerous. Jones, a shot. He missed it just high. When you know, the man who scored the tying goal last night nearly had a chance to do it again moments after a power play ended. This time, Jones misses the target. 7:02 remaining in the third. Mass now to it on the far side. Up the ice to Duran. Louvre sandwiches him over by the T-Bird bench. Kessel back to it. Up the wall for Zach Dean. And Dean will skate his way out of trouble through center. To the Bruin line. They'll push it by Mast and just get it safely behind the Bruin net. Millman up the near side. Koskamaki got in the way of it. Bruins don't clear it first, but now McLaughlin has it in center. Across the ice. Duran had to slow up to get on side and then pitch it in deep. Schoenemann knocked down by McLaughlin. Puck comes in front for Harrison. Brett Harrison out of the corner. Looking for a lane to the front. McLaughlin pinned by Kessel. Schoenemann over to the loose change. Now Kessel pushed again by McLaughlin. Matt pushes through it. Up the far boards for Robertson. Heavy minutes for Matt Kessel here in the third. And boy, he has been steady as they come again. Koskamaki stiff arms a man down. Turns, looks toward the net. He fires it, hit a leg. Peterson now out of the near corner. Getting away from Edward, and Dickinson now looking to walk in front. Tanner Dickinson stops, centers. It went off a stick high in the air. It's loose on the line. Dickinson whacking at it. It's still sitting free, and finally DiPietro gets it smothered to stop play. 5:52 remaining, final period. It remains a 3-2 Isotopes lead for a second straight night. A phenomenally played hockey game between two bitter rivals. The conclusion to regulation when we return. Topes Hockey brought to you by MGM Springfield. .552 remaining regulation time, and Isotopes night is going to come down to the wire. Fitting, these two teams have played so many nip and tuck games over the years, and this season has been no exception. The last two meetings have gone all the way to a shootout. One goal affairs both times the Bruins come away with a win. T-Birds trying to earn a split of the weekend. 22 shots so far for the Taupes, 28 for Providence. Colton Ellis so far has outdueled Michael DiPietro. Both goalies have had some fantastic moments tonight. And we still have a few more in store. Drawn to DiPietro's left. Pekka Stenberg, Luff Skinner, and Bushinger, the 5 on the ice for Springfield. Pekka wins the draw. Skinner for Bushinger. Left side shot off a stick and out of play as Pitlick got out in the lane to block it off the rink. Bruins pulled even last night with just 3:55 remaining in the third to make it 2-2. I have no clue how that 5-minute overtime didn't result in a goal for somebody. Bussey and Jarenko for a second straight overtime period against one another were absolutely marvelous. A leap in center here by Pekka, but he's knocked down by Brown, and the Bruin captain gains the Springfield zone, backhanding one toward the front. Skinner got a stick on it. Edward, though, holds the zone. Pitlick into the high slot. VL turns, shoots off the mask of Ellis, and Pekka gets to the loose puck on the far side of the ice, but he couldn't get it out of the zone. VL spinning and firing, blocked away by Skinner. The Isotopes battling the puck all over the place as Luff swats it out to center. Now Bushinger back in his own zone to play it. Skinner now settles it down. Out in center, Stenberg. Another troublesome handle of a pass, but Stenberg gained his composure and got the hold of it. Luff now from center will pitch it into the Bruin zone. 5 minutes to play. Brunet across to Ryan Mast. Mast ahead. Lettieri deflected it in. Schuneman swatted it right back out to center. And Luff will get it across the Providence zone. McEachran down the right wing, trying to turn the corner on Brunet. McEachran took a heavy hit from Lettieri. Brunet around for Mast. Looked like some interference in front as Alexandrov was knocked down. The arms stay down. Alexandrov, who has 2 already tonight, feeds the point for Dvorsky. Dalibor Dvorsky plays it safely and deeper for McEachran. McEachran trying to chip it out front. It hit the top of the net, came down in front. Brunet got to the spot first. And the Bruins clear to center. 4:30 remaining in the third. 3-2 Taupes the score. McEachran now up the gut, trying to break in alone to the forehand. A save made DiPietro, not trying to bank it in McEachran. It came loose in behind for Alexandrov. Alexandrov in the right corner, knocked down to the ice again, but got it loose to Dvorsky. Dvorsky to the front, trying to center, and Mast knocked down the centering pass. McEachran would have had a tap in. Now Jones through center, 2-on-2 with Lettieri. Lettieri is onside, they say. Centering to Jones, and Ellis the save. Boy, I thought that play was offside, but they said play on. And Ellis comes up with a huge save on a net crashing drive by Jones. A tick under 4 minutes to play. The Taupes trying to hang on, up 3-2 late in the third. The draw will be to the left of Colton Ellis. Dean and Farinacci, the combatants, and Dean wins the draw. Johannesson up the near side safely to Robertson in center, and now Dean across the Providence zone. Send it around to the right corner, Robertson over to it. Robertson had it bounce past him, and Lysell trying to work his way to center. Robertson caught up to him well, but Farinacci on the follow-up steps into the O-zone. Tufte on left wing, a wrist shot, took off high over the net. Koskamaki over to it, will play it off a stick. Loof then falls down, but wisely gloved it ahead, not out of the zone just yet. And now Dean will step to center. Boy, the Taupes have had a lot of strange things happen in the D zone in this period, but Loof with a heads-up play in what could have been a disaster situation for him. There must be some sort of rut on the ice. We've seen the puck bounce. We've seen players fall. Koskamaki now at the other end, feeding in the high slot. Skinner trying to find a lane to the net, into the right wing corner. Hunter Skinner around the goal with it now. Circles the zone, feeds the point. Bushinger. A little flipper to the front, gloved by Mason Millman, but he had his stick lifted by Luff. And Luff takes over control on the right wing wall and will just send it around the net. 2:55 remaining in the third. Good shift there from this unit just to kill time. Farinacci now to center, gets the red line and lobs it in. Ellis out to move it to the near corner. Bushinger right back to Skinner. In the next half minute or so, you'll have to keep an eye out for DiPietro to see when Ryan Mougenel wants to get his goaltender to the bench for an extra skater. Brunet head for Jeff VL. The yellow rink-wide pass. Pitlick has to play off the wall and swat it in deep. Schumann back to it first. Roll it around for Kessel. Up the wall, Stenberg. Beaten to it by Brunet, but Brunet overskates it. And now Pekka ahead to center. Numbers for the Topes, but it's slow developing. Pekka in the slot with it. Right wing feed. Alexandrov out of his skates. Banks it in front, and Pekka scores! It'll be a three-point night for Alexandrov as he nearly had the hat trick, banking it off DiPietro. But Pekka arrives on the spot to whack it home and give the Topes some more insurance. It's 4-2 with 2:12 remaining. What a night for Nikita Alexandrov, who, oh, by the way, got absolutely blasted into the end glass by Jackson Edward just after he got the puck in front of the net. Bruins, you have to think, are still going to try to get DiPietro to the bench. Alexandrov is on the ice. The Bruins looking for another one. A centering pass to the front, knocked down by Schumann. Ahead comes McEachran. He's looking for Alexandrov. Alexandrov for the hat trick, knocked down by Mitchell. Nicky has never had, or actually he's had one AHL hat trick. I wasn't in the building for it back in 2022. Patrick Brown ahead for Jones, who has running room into the O-zone. 6-on-5 for the Bruins. Lysell shooting, save made by Ellis. McEachran trying to clear, but Mitchell holds in. On the left to Merkulov. Poke past him to center by Kessel. Dvorsky looking for Alexandrov, but Dalabor's going to hit the empty net himself. So Dvorsky with his third point tonight for good measure to make it 5-2 with $1:29 to play. And the Topes have a 4-goal third period. And it would appear the Isotopes are going to remain unbeaten. 5 years of Isotopes nights here in Springfield. And looks like it's going to be 5 Isotopes victories, many of them in convincing fashion. This one might go down as a 3-goal win when all is said and done. But boy, the story of the game will tell you this was not an easy one. Dean to center will send it in. Into the final minute, and it looks like Springfield is going to end this home and home with a very staunch Bruin team, and they're going to come out of it with the edge in points in the standings. It'll be a 3-point weekend for Springfield, a season-high 7-game point streak for them before they head to the Midwest for games in Grand Rapids Wednesday, Milwaukee Thursday, Rockford Saturday, and a chance for the Topes, who will become the T-Birds again for that trip, by the way, to try to make some more headway in the Atlantic. .30 seconds remaining, draw to the right of Ellis. DiPietro back in the net, a quick shot by Harrison, blocked away. Stenberg juggles it out of midair and flips it toward the blue line. Pekka arrives to it to swat it to neutral ice. 20 seconds remaining as Edward globs it in. Ellis will come back for it. Up the near side, Riley Duran backhanding one to the front. Ellis kicks it aside. Bushinger skates it up the near side for Luff. He'll lob it out to center. I'll let the Isotope fans bring you home. A 5-2 win for the Topes. Springfield hockey has still never lost as the Isotopes. 5-0. as they cap off a 3-point weekend out of a possible 4 against the Bruins. We'll wrap it when we return. Isotopes Hockey has been brought to you by MGM Springfield.
And tonight's #1 star from your Springfield Isotopes, number 17, Nikita Alexandrov.
All right, tonight's first star, Nikita Alexandrov. Nikita, 3 points tonight, 2 goals, and a helper for you. Now, this Bruins team just ahead of you in the standings, and you get 3 out of 4 points this weekend against them. How important is that?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty good for us coming off the break and just get 3 points out of 4. It's important to us, and we just try to keep the winning streak going, and we're looking forward to the next game.
Now you're going back on the road, heading out to the Midwest again. Recent success in the Midwest. How do you carry this into the road trip?
Those are really good teams, and if we can prepare ourselves pretty good, then I think we'll be good to go.
Isotopes undefeated. Maybe you take these jerseys with you on the road trip.
Yeah, maybe we should, but those goes out to the fans. So.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations. Good luck on the road.
Okay, thank you.
Your first star, Nikita Alexandrov.